Broadcasting from the Main Street Media television studios in Nashville, Tennessee, it's time for Friday Night Live, the best high school football coverage in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Zach Womble, and Billy Derrick, and also reporters from Main Street Media. Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans, don't let fans drive drunk.
And good evening once again, everybody, and welcome in. Yeah, let's kick back and relax a little bit. After a 2-hour show, all of a sudden it's Friday Night Live, and he's Zach Womble. I'm George Plaster. Billy Derrick will rejoin us here in a matter of moments. This is week number 1 of playoff football all across the state of Tennessee. And Zach, if you were going to kind of pick a sentence or two, what kind of year do you think this has been so far?
It's been a great year, George. I mean, there's been a lot of teams, whether it be from the mid-state that maybe you're surprised a little bit from their seasons, or it's teams that you kind of expected to run out to the way that they have. And it's been a fun season. I mean, every high school football year that comes and goes, it feels like it's gone by in a blink of an eye. And this year is no different. We're already in the first round of the playoffs, and before you know it, we'll be crowning 9 state champions in Chattanooga. So it's been a fun year. The show has completely flown by. The season has flown by, but the best football is hopefully still in front of us.
And oftentimes this is where it won't happen tonight because we've been blessed with temperatures that are way above normal.
Yeah.
But oftentimes it's a lot colder. There are a lot more conditions to have to deal with. And then it kind of comes down to who can run the football.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Just because the weather's a little warm, I don't think that philosophy changes. It certainly helps the passing attack. But you're right. When you get into these late seasons and it gets cold outside, and hopefully it will start getting cold soon and we'll start feeling like it's winter. You're right. You're going to need to run the football, and the teams that can get between the tackles and really mix it up in the line of trenches usually are the teams that have success. So you're right. Kind of unseasonably warm today. I know that affected state cross country that I was at earlier today. I mean, when you have an 80-degree day at the beginning of November, you're wondering what the heck is going on. So I know these fans, these coaches, these players will really probably enjoy it tonight when it's about 8:30 and in the low 60s.
We're fortunate in that the rain that is supposed to get here by about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and last virtually the entire day, it may ruin a college football Saturday if you're outside, but on the high school level, timing was everything, and that's good news that it holds off until then.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we don't want to see important football games like the playoffs dictated by the weather, and I think that's why you see so many like professional teams going to dome stadiums, because they want big games determined by the field, not what falls from the sky. But you're right, we definitely dodged a bullet on the rain this weekend, and hopefully we'll get some good, clean football out there tonight. I think we will. And I think it'll be one of those nights where it's the fourth quarter and it's, low 60s, and you're sitting out there thinking, wow, what a perfect night to be playing some high school football.
What I'm about to get into is not meant as a knock at Chattanooga, but it is certainly something. And in fact, we'll table that. What in the world is Chris Yao doing?
Chris Yao is hey, he's the head of the new media department. It looks like. Chris, how's it going down there at Mount Pleasant?
Man, it's a beautiful night here for football. It could not be a better night here in Mount Pleasant. Actually, weather's perfect. I'm wearing shorts, guys. This is ridiculous. And we talked about it, how great the weather was last year in Chattanooga, and I thought, man, it can't get much better than that. Well, tonight it is. Take advantage of it, though. If you're not out in a ball game yet, you better get out there, because this may be the best weather we get all year, guys.
Hey, Chris, before we get into the game that you're covering tonight, I just had Scott Ramsey on, the executive director of not only the Nashville Sports Council, but the Music City Bowl. And we got into, when are you going to start bidding for events in this new dome stadium? And obviously, college football playoff stuff came up, but he brought up a great point that it will be at that time that you see Nashville get back into the let's host the finals where it belongs in Nashville, Tennessee, and those kids would want to play in a dome stadium. And again, I'm not trying to diss on Chattanooga, but I am going to ask you, what do you know about the contractual arrangement right now? How long does that thing hold?
Right now, it's only 2 years. George, they did a 2-year bid, just like they did with the 2 years after COVID for the alignments. So they just did a 2-year bid to host in Chattanooga. When Cookeville, when it kind of left Cookeville and things were a little crazy, and that was unfortunate for Cookeville. But, the bottom line is that Chattanooga is a great place to host it with what we have across the state right now. And honestly, yeah, I mean, if Nashville doesn't bid on it, then it's ridiculous. It needs to be in Nashville. It's a central location, especially if we can get it into a climate-controlled environment. If we're not doing that, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, and I know you feel the same way.
I don't. And maybe you can tell me why, but I think a place like Vanderbilt would be a perfect place to hold the state championships.
It was in the past. Vanderbilt was not nearly as excited as they should have been about hosting it. And that's been now 10, 15 years ago.
It's the playing surface.
That became the other issue.
Well, is it not now a better playing surface?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So, if the Titans don't want to bid on it because it's they have a game that weekend in professional football, maybe Vanderbilt got a great field.
Have you seen the renderings of the new stadium? I mean, it is a beautiful place to watch a football game. If not Nissan or whatever it's going to be called, if the Titans build this new stadium, I mean, that is a beautiful, beautiful stadium. And if they go to an artificial playing surface or some sort of hybrid, I think it would be the perfect place to play it.
Okay, while I've got both of you together, this may be an issue where you say, boy, I don't think it's worth a conversation, but here goes. I've always thought that it makes no sense in the state of Tennessee to have your finals weekend going up against SEC title game, ACC title game. Why not move it back a week and let everybody enjoy both events?
Well, I think
moving back which way?
Move it back to, let's say, December the 10th as opposed to December the 3rd. And if you have to do a bye week to get there, so what?
I'm cool with that. I think D2 would have a problem with it. They already played one fewer game, but they already have a bye week on Thanksgiving, so that might be a problem. But other than that, I mean, hey, I'm all for it.
Chris, I want to talk to you about this game that you're at tonight between Mount Pleasant and Scotts Hill. Mount Pleasant, defensively, I think they're giving up, 10 points a game, including back-to-back shutouts. We had talked about them last week against Forest and just how well they are playing as a unit. But going into tonight, going into this playoff football game, what are you expecting from that side of the football? Is it much of the same? Do you see that defense kind of dominating to the tune to help this Mount Pleasant team onto the second round?
Look, Mount Pleasant is so fast. They're so athletic. It's really difficult to do anything, on the edges with them. You kind of got to run at them to be successful at all. And the fact is, and these two teams have played each other. These two teams played in, I think, week 2, and Mount Pleasant beat them handily.
Yep.
Handily.
43-0.
So, yeah, wow. It was a bloodbath down here. And look, I think part of that's going to be a good thing for Mount Pleasant. There's going to be some confidence, but also I think Scotts Hill's probably got a little something for him too. But the fact is that Mount Pleasant is so athletic, both offensively and defensively. They got guys that you just cannot contain. And the only way to be successful against them defensively is to run right at them. And I'm just not sure that Scotts Hill has the ability up front to do that.
Is this a Mount Pleasant team that can make a real run at getting to Chattanooga, Chris?
Absolutely. Again, Two reasons. One, they're athletic everywhere. They've got athletes all over the board. Junior quarterback Nick Brown is really, really good. And then you've got Darian Meza on top of that. You've got Perez Carter in the backfield, who is a bruising tailback who can run it between the tackles and keep you honest in the middle. I think this is a team that has a real shot, and I think the X factor is that they have a guy in Jackson Collier, a kicker in Class 2A that has a long of 42 on the year. So you got a chance to put 3 on the board anytime you get within the 20-yard line. That's a big deal in Class 2A football. Not many teams can do that.
No, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, even in 6A football, honestly, I mean, I know you have more kickers that can extend a little bit, but if a team has somebody that they can trust over 40, I mean, that's a serious weapon that they possess. But I'm looking here at this bracket, and I'm assuming you've looked at this bracket, but we've talked about this team as being able to get there. Who for you? Is it Riverside in the second round? Is it someone like Lewis County in the quarterfinals, or is it someone different that kind of stands in their way that they're going to have to get through?
They after tonight, it is a dogfight. I mean, I think that I do think Richland has a chance to take care of Lewis County in the second round if those two meet. But the fact is that Lewis County, Decatur County, Riverside, those are long-standing programs. They've got great history. They've got great football teams, and they always have good football teams. It never fails. And those are the times those two teams particularly can run the football up the middle and between the tackles, and that's what's going to be an issue for Mount Pleasant. So that's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be a dogfight to get to the semifinals, but here's the thing. You can never count out Mount Pleasant because they have the ability to score from anywhere on the field. Much like Tennessee, they can, it's kind of like a home run on the baseball field. The fact that they can hit a 65, 70-yard bomb at any point, you can't count that out. And so that's why I think they have a chance, but it's going to be a dogfight to get there.
I think they average nearly 40 points a game, George. So, yeah, offensively, they got it rolling.
They got a quarterback named Hooker?
No, you would think no. Nick Brown, man, is fantastic. The really unfortunate part about this whole thing is their best athlete, their best receiver, Demarcus Brown, SEMO commit, tore his ACL and MCL earlier this season. He is out, and that is just unfortunate. If they had Demarcus Brown, I would pick them to be in the state championship game, no question. Mo picked them yesterday on our show. He picked Mount Pleasant to go to Chattanooga. So I think they've got a shot, absolutely.
Where is Mo tonight?
Mo is in Jackson. Jackson Christian is Columbia Academy. Those two teams played earlier this year, and they were unable to finish the game because of weather. So he said, I can't not go to this one because it was a really good football game the first time around. So I hear you guys will be talking to him later, but yeah, it's going to be a good football game too.
Chris, appreciate your making the effort to not only be on with us, but where we can see you.
Hey, I thought this would be just a really cool extra added feature if we could do some video here. And so here I am. I'm doing some goofy stuff. We're trying new things, and here we are. Actually, the Murray County Public Schools communication director is taking my picture right now.
Well, you tell him or her thank you.
We'll do it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. That's going to be a good night for high school football.
It is. Chris, see you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Okay, so you blew off my the week of when you play the state finals.
Oh,
I think it hurts attendance when you're asking people to give up whatever it is, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama,
sure,
as an SEC title game, not to mention Big 12, ACC, whatever. To me, there's no reason for them to have to compete.
Well, I think the biggest reason I do like your idea, George. I honestly do, because
I'm an innovator.
Well, private schools, Division II, they get a bye week, so their bye week is this week.
Right.
They don't have to play while public school playoffs are starting. They get a bye week, so it makes sense. Why not give them a bye week? And I understand that you get a bye week before the national championship, you get a bye week before the Super Bowl. I mean, you should get time to prepare for the big game. But on the flip side, what I think they would say is the basketball coaches, because these kids are still in high school,
right?
They'll say, listen, we're already missing them for a month at this point. We've missed them the entire summer. We didn't have them in the spring. We're getting them already late in the season, so we need them back earlier. And I think that'd probably be their biggest argument to why they're playing it a week after. But I'm like you. I don't see the harm in giving them a week. Like you said, now you don't have to fall in the same line as Championship Saturday in college football. And you give the guys an opportunity to bask in the glory a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
because that's part of the fun of it.
That's part of the fun. It's part of, being big man on campus for more than, a few days, because as soon as you win that semifinal game, you got to transition immediately into championship. Why not give those guys an extra week just to enjoy the fact that they're one of only, 18 teams across all platforms to play for a gold football?
Yeah. Okay. So now that I've helped Tennessee high school football, let's move it back to Nashville, and let's take the title games and move it a week past college football's championship week.
There we go. I'm all for it. I do hope that Nashville bids on the state championships. I don't understand why it ever left Murfreesboro. Obviously, I understand why, because they didn't want it. That's why I moved to Chattanooga. But yeah, you would like to see everybody come to Middle Tennessee, which is Murfreesboro, Nashville, to play a state championship. And Chattanooga, listen, they do have great facilities, whether it be girls soccer, whether it be football. But I think it's a little further away for everybody. And Nashville just kind of seems like a better place to have everybody congregate to. And no disrespect to Chattanooga, but I think if you were going to poll people on, hey, where would you like to go spend a weekend, they'd probably say in Nashville.
Yeah. Again, not dissing Chattanooga, but the discussion came up on my show earlier today with Scott Ramsey, and the question got posed, give me some events that maybe we have not talked a lot about, that if the city goes ahead and builds the Dome Stadium, that the city would be interested in hosting. And he immediately brought that one up and said, look for us to bid to move it back here. And I'm with you. I think that's parents, that's a weekend in Nashville, not all bad.
No, it's not. Especially for our friends coming from East and West Tennessee that, like, again, no disrespect to Chattanooga, but you would feel like they would much rather spend their weekend in Nashville. And so hopefully that happens for everybody involved. Who knows if it will? I don't think it'll obviously ever be played at Nissan Stadium for the grass reason. That's why I suggested Vanderbilt, because I knew they had a better playing surface. What does it seat? 30,000 people? That's plenty.
Seats 41.
Plenty of seats for the crowds to come in. Again, right in the middle of downtown Nashville. I don't know what else you could ask for.
Okay, on that, we'll get into the games. We'll get Zach to pick out 3 or 4 that if he wasn't stuck in here with me, he'd be out covering. So we'll do that after our first break. The show is Friday Night Live. We're in playoff football. This is Main Street Media Television.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
Really good drive. There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time. Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Run your name, sir. You are right now?
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures, All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
We are back. The show is Friday Night Live. I don't know why that was so hard to say. But whatever the case, it'll be the very best coverage of high school football. And in this case, week number 1 of the high school playoffs. So all over the state, man, there is a lot on the line. Zach Womble alongside Billy Derrick will rejoin us here in just a few moments. Give me 3 or 4 games that if you weren't stuck in here, that you'd be out there wanting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So in no particular order, but just running down the list, I think anytime Gary Rankin comes back to the Mid-State, I think that's must-see football. So Boyd Buchanan coming to play CPA. Boyd Buchanan 7-3, CPA 5-5 on the year. CPA could win this football game very easily, but anytime you've got Gary Rankin on the sideline, I think your football team stands a really good chance. CPA showed that this is not a rebuilding year for them. They are a good football team. But again, anytime Gary Rankin, the GOAT, who I think is the greatest high school coach in Tennessee history, leads your team, you have a chance. So I think that's one that you automatically have to look at. I mean, for what he did for high school football across not only Middle Tennessee, but the entire state. Green Hill at Page, that is a really good football game. Green Hill could be a region champion if the ball bounces their way a couple times against Mount Juliet. Page 8-2 on the year. We saw them open up the season with a big win against Fairview, and they've kind of rolled ever since. So that should be a really good football game as well.
What is this? Green Hill's 4th year of existence? Third year. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, the thing that really helped Green Hill out was when they opened, Wilson County allowed for open enrollment. So a lot of students from Mount Juliet or Wilson Central went to Green Hill. So really good athletes ended up on their campus. So it's not like, they were starting with freshmen and sophomores.
Wasn't totally expansion.
Exactly. So, they get some coaches maybe from the other side as well. So a lot, and besides, Mount Juliet is growing with a lot of families that have really good, talented athletes on the boys and girls side. And so you're seeing that, and they've got good administration. They've got good support. When you have some of the best facilities in your county, you're automatically going to have people that want to come to your school. So they're kind of sitting in a really good spot right now. The same kind of spot that Liberty Creek in Sumner County is sitting in, the same spot that the new school in Montgomery County is sitting on, which is, I've now drawn a blank on the name. But regardless, these new schools that come in these established cities, they're ahead of the 8 ball a little bit because they get to pull from the already established programs, and they already have really great facilities. So they're just really in a good spot to succeed. And then moving on, listen, I think you could go a lot of different ways here. We've got 10 here that we kind of helped build. But Riverdale at Lebanon, listen, Riverdale's kind of come on late here. The last few weeks, we were kind of wondering about them. They lost to Blackman. You thought, okay, maybe this is a downhill for Riverdale, but they've really responded these last few weeks. 6-4 on the season. Lebanon 8-2, led of course by Jalen Abson. So that should be a really good football game tonight in Wilson County.
In Riverdale, there was a day in time, it doesn't feel like it right now, where Oakland was chasing Riverdale. Obviously, the roles have been reversed, and so Riverdale does not get the kind of pub they used to. Maybe that's helped them here, that they have snuck under the radar at the end of the season to become a pretty darn good football team.
They have. Listen, I mean, that's a really good area for football. So they've got good athletes to begin with. But when you've got, a head coach like Will Kreisky that leads your bunch, you've always got a really good chance. And so he's just been able to stay honed in with his guys along with his staff and keep their attention on the task at hand. And like you said, last couple of weeks, they've looked like a completely different football team. Isaiah Verser running for nearly 200 yards last week, 3 scores in their 33-14 win over Stewart's Creek. So, Riverdale, again, starting to put it together at the right time. Could be a really, really tough matchup for Lebanon tonight.
What else you got there?
Listen, you've got McGavick at Beach. McGavick had a really good year this year in Metro Nashville at 7-3, led, of course, by Demetrius Bell, 3-star wide receiver, was initially committed to Michigan State, decommitted, was now reassessing where he's at. I hear he likes Kentucky. I hear he likes the Wildcats, so maybe he ends up part of that trend of Middle Tennessee athletes that go north to play for Mark Stoops. But that's a really good one. Gallatin at
By the way, I'd reassess on Michigan State too.
Yeah, well, he decommitted for Michigan State long before the incident.
Long before the tunnel.
Long before the tunnel, which, can't believe that happened. But, the thing for me, George, is that really bothers me on that whole situation. You just had 60 minutes to basically commit assault on one another. That's what football is. That's what college football is. It's a free reign to just commit assault on one another. And they had the opportunity to do that for 60 minutes. And then to just pull that stunt in the tunnel after you've been giving a freebie. I mean, the police and the universities are telling you, go out and knock the hell out of somebody. We're not going to do anything about it. But when you step off the field, don't leave them alone. And they just chose to be idiots.
Well, there are a couple of things in this. Number one, I have dealt with Mel Tucker some when he was at Colorado. That's a good man who is not teaching this kind of thuggish kind of stuff. The second thing is, and look, I wasn't there, so I don't know who talked about whose mama.
Right.
It always comes down to mama.
Always.
And it's never good when mama gets brought up. But the whole deal about both teams going through one tunnel at the same time, yes, they should behave. And you would hope to goodness that they would. They don't. Somebody, this commissioner, Kevin Warren, Big Ten, I'm shocked he hasn't already sent out the directive that says, I want to know from here on in exactly what the policy is, where one team goes in, and until that team's finished going in, the other team doesn't go in. And by next year, I'm saying you got to have 2 tunnels. And the way the commissioners have the power, they control this.
Sure. Yeah, it is surprising to me that Michigan Stadium, the Big House, doesn't have 2 tunnels.
It's an old stadium.
But the thing is, George, they've been playing football there for 100+ years. How many times has this been a problem?
The problem is it was a couple of weeks before when Penn State came to town.
I must have missed that one.
Oh, Franklin and Harbaugh jawed about it in some post-game stuff a week later. And then lo and behold, after Harbaugh kind of went after Franklin, then this happened. I don't pretend to know everything. I've seen the film footage. It's disgusting. If I'm Mel Tucker, those 8, and I don't know how many others, without really slow-mowing the film, how many Michigan State players were involved. If I'm the head coach, they never play for me again.
So
pure and simple.
That was released. You know, our good buddy Brady McAtamney, he's from Michigan, so he's a Michigan State fan. So of course he's been all over this situation. I believe there were 5 players kicked off the team indefinitely. The university was continuing to look through it because the university had put out a press release, signed of course by Mel Tucker, also signed by their athletic director, and I believe it was 5 players who got kicked off the team immediately. And you know, one person in the national media market that I like to listen to, Bruno Reagan, who played college football at Vanderbilt. He said there at every single program, every single stop, there are a group of individuals who are not there to play college football. They're just there to be hooligans. And it looks like that's exactly what happened in that situation.
Which is really a shame, and it sort of forces a coaching staff to weed out at some point. And look, I don't pretend to know. I know that in dealing with Mel Tucker, that is not the kind of thing he's teaching. It's not the kind of thing that he's happy about. You've got that deal in front of you. What I remember was that they initially suspended 4 and then added 4 more 3 days later.
Yeah, so this was put out on November 1st. I haven't seen anything. I can go to their page to see if there's anything more recent, but it says they are suspending student athletes Malcolm Jones, Justin White, Jacoby Widman, and Brandon Wright. So right there, like you said, the 4 that are getting suspended, or excuse me, the 5 that are getting suspended. Yeah, I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation, and it's effective immediately, as they said. But, you know, what are you doing, man? You know, but it goes back to what Bruno said. Apparently there are kids there that are not there to play college football. They're just there to cause havoc. And unfortunately for Michigan State, these kids now have to depart, and, you know, someone's going to land their services. I mean, let's not pretend like, you know, if they don't go down to JUCO ball, have a great year in JUCO ball, they're not going to end up back even at a group of 5 school.
Well, a couple of them are going to end up in jail.
Yeah.
There's going to be some legal stuff to this case that I don't think you've seen in the past. One of the victims' fathers came out very quickly and said, this group that did this will feel the full wrath of the law, was, I think, the way he put it.
Yeah, I mean, and rightfully so. Like I said, they committed assault when they weren't. I mean, as I was just saying, you were allowed to commit assault on the football field during 60 minutes. Do not take that into the locker room where it's not legally allowed. I mean, you were given a golden opportunity to express what you needed to express. And so for them to step over the line the way that they did, I think they should have to experience every extent of the law.
You know what I'd be curious about, and I really haven't asked anybody. I wonder how many Division I head coaches address this subject this week with their players.
Oh, I'm sure it's much like remember when Deshaun Watson, and I'm not saying it's this on the same level, but Deshaun Watson dropped the ball before going into the end zone. It's a teachable moment. I think head coaches all across the landscape say, hey, they use this as an opportunity. Say, let's learn from it, because it's the best thing to learn from, because it's not your team, but it's still a very teachable outcome that could in theory happen.
Yeah. Anyway, how we got off on that, I'm not quite sure I know. But the key thing, when you hear discussion of mama,
yeah,
it is seldom good.
It's seldom
on a football field.
That's right. That's right.
We'll go to the break. We're about 25 minutes away from most of the games in the Middle Tennessee area getting underway. Billy Derrick will join us in a few minutes. This is Friday Night Live on Main Street Media Television.
So, I got a DUI. Mom, Dad.
Why didn't you just call someone for a ride?
I wasn't thinking ahead. I didn't think I was gonna get caught. Yeah, my best friend Tim.
Still coming to my bachelor party next month?
This DUI cost me 10 grand. So, no. Yeah, you, in the back.
Did you know I almost died when you hit me?
I didn't think this would affect so many people.
You think it was worth it?
No more questions. For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com. So, I got a DUI. Mom, Dad.
Why didn't you just call someone for a ride?
I wasn't thinking ahead. I didn't think I was gonna get caught. Yeah, my best friend Tim.
Still coming to my bachelor party next month?
This DUI cost me 10 grand. So, no. Yeah, you, in the back.
Did you know I almost died when you hit me?
I didn't think this would affect so many people.
You think it was worth it?
No more questions.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around. I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Cover your name, sir. You know where you are right now?
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
At Miss Lou Steele's, we go for apple pie. A place that feels like a home away from home. A comfortable place to bring your family from out of town. It's a place where great conversations are had. It's a place where you can shop 200 small businesses in one location. It's a place for you to shop for gifts for any occasion or just to treat yourself. Come on down to Miss Lou Steele's. You'll be glad you did.
We're back here on Friday Night Live. The new addition to the crew is young Billy Derrick, sitting over in the Stadium Series skybox.
Yep. Got a nice view up here.
Do you now?
Yeah.
Free food?
No, free food.
Yeah.
It's not included in the skybox up
It's
here.
not an all-you-can-eat deal?
No, I wish it was. Yeah, I know you'd like that, George.
That'd be good. Yes.
Yeah.
So I asked Zach earlier. That's Zach, by the way, if you haven't met.
Hey, Billy.
Billy Derrick. Nice to meet you, Zach.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Always a pleasure.
So if you weren't in here, give me 3 or 4 games you would like to see.
Well, I mean, being a homer, I would love to see Father Ryan at MUS. MUS is the 3 seed in Division II. AAA, Father Ryan is the 6. And this is actually the 3rd straight time Father Ryan has played at MUS in the first round of the playoffs. So 3 straight years. They beat them last year, and I talked about it last week. They went on to beat McCallie last year. So obviously that's one I'm looking at. Green Hill and Page, of course, that's the matchup for me to watch. Really, I like what you talked about earlier, Zach, with Nolensville, how Page is a really good football team still. And I mean, Page was, a play here or there from maybe winning that Nolensville game, and maybe roles are reversed. Maybe we're seeing Nolensville playing Green Hill tonight. So I think that's what I look at. Green Hill and Page, 2 really good teams. That's probably the best matchup overall.
Yeah.
I think in the first round. So those are the 2, George, I look at. I know Cane Ridge, I just forgot who they play. Gallatin, that's right. So I like that one. I mean, it's obviously a challenge for Cane Ridge, but the way they've played and some of the teams they've beaten this year, I'm excited to see how Cane Ridge fares tonight against a Gallatin team that's kind of been up and down a little bit this year. So big game for both those teams. So there's some interesting matchups where you get some contrasting styles. I mean, Cane Ridge and Gallatin, 2 very different teams.
Yep.
But really looking forward to that one.
Yep.
Who is the Metro school that can make the deepest run?
Well, there are a couple, I think if you want to look at the largest classification, I think you look at 6A, you say Cane Ridge, because Cane Ridge, again, they play Gallatin. I'm like you, Billy. Cane Ridge, for me, this game tonight with Gallatin, I think it could be sneaky good because, as I said in my weekly pick'em, I think Cane Ridge is used to playing teams that like to utilize space. They like to utilize the boundaries. They like to utilize all 53 yards of a football field from the width of a football field. Gallatin doesn't like to use space. They like to run up A gap. They like to run B gap. And they like to run A gap, B gap, A gap, B gap. I mean, they're
the old Green Bay Packers.
So I wonder, how tough is Cane Ridge up the middle? How tough are their interior defensive linemen? How tough are their linebackers? Because when they're getting pounded over and over and over again, are they gonna falter? Are they gonna wilter? I think it could be a sneaky good football game. I do think Cane Ridge comes out on top because I think they have the playmakers to make more plays than the Gallatin. And then if they get past that, I think Smyrna in round 2, assuming that they beat Hendersonville, will be tough, but they've shown this year they're better than Smyrna. Beach in the quarterfinals would be a really tough matchup, but if you can get through that, I think it's actually easier than a semifinal matchup. Whomever comes out of West Tennessee, most likely Collierville. So I really like Cane Ridge to make a run. I think Pearl Cone, anytime they're in it, has a chance. East Nashville, I know they've played not bad. They haven't played up to their potential the last few weeks, but they're still 8-2, George. And so I think they've got a chance in 3A. So there are several teams that can make a run at Chattanooga.
Another game I really like is Columbia Academy at Jackson Christian. Columbia Academy's been up and down. They're 4-5 this year. Jackson Christian's a really good team, 8-1. And guess who is there? Maurice Patton is there, and he checks in with us live from Jackson Christian High School. Mo, how's it going out there tonight?
Oh, it's amazing weather for November, 5th? It's 4th. Weather's great. 4th. The weather's great. I hope I don't jinx it here in the next 3 hours, but really feels good out here, and I think it's great conditions for a great football game. And as you said, Columbia Academy comes in here 4-5. Jackson Christian 8-1, ranked number 3 in the final Associated Press D2A statewide poll. But these two teams saw each other back over Labor Day weekend, and I'm sure y'all recall that was the weekend that all hell broke loose on Friday night from a weather perspective. So they only got a half in, and then they had a 2-hour weather delay, and then JCS decided to come on back across the river. But Columbia Academy led that game 10-0 up until the final play of the first half when Jackson Christian finally got on the scoreboard. So it was 10-0, but they didn't finish, so it was officially a no contest. And Columbia Academy really wanting to get a full 48 minutes in down here tonight and see how it goes.
Mo, I had this speech all prepared about how the weather turns bad. You have to, the teams run the football. When was the last time we had a week one of the playoffs with this kind of weather?
Well, I don't know when the last time was that we had a week one with this kind of weather, but I tell you, the weather we got for the state championship games, the Blue Cross Bowl down in Chattanooga was unseasonably warm, and I don't think we're going to get that ever again, but I'll take it this weekend for sure.
I bet you will.
Mo, I'm looking at these results for both of the teams, and I guess your 10-0 recap of what happened in the first half kind of shocks me a little bit, because you're looking at the scores that Jackson Christian has put up this year, and they're ungodly. I mean, they score a lot of points. Is this a football game where you throw all that out the window? You expect Columbia Academy to come in and potentially win?
I do. I picked Columbia Academy. Nostradamus picked Columbia Academy to win this ball game, and I talked to a couple of folks that cover high school football out here in West Tennessee, and I think those big numbers that Jackson Christian was putting up were as much because of the competition as anything.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, you look at their last 7 games outside of their loss to USJ, they've scored 56, 63, 55, 49, 49, 55. I mean, when you initially see those numbers, it can be overwhelming. Has Columbia Academy seen those numbers? And if they have, how much pride are they taking in for their defense tonight to try to show that, hey, maybe they don't have as prolific of an offense as maybe they think?
I think they have seen those numbers. I think they not only are they taking pride in the first half performance that they had at Jackson Christian, but they're also taking pride in the 28-14 win that they had the week before down at Waverly. That's Region 6-3 champ Waverly, and that's a wrap. Like they're a good team. They played a tough schedule. Their 5 losses were to Franklin Road. Hello?
You were here, Mo.
Hello? You still got me?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Oh, okay. Their 5 losses are the FRA, Boyd Buchanan, DCA, Nashville Christian, and Clarksville Academy. By the way, all 5 of those are in the playoffs, 2 in D2 AA. So Columbia Academy feels like they're a pretty good ball club, and they got a chance to come down here and prove it tonight.
Absolutely, Mo. I'm so glad you mentioned that Waverly game on the road nonetheless. I mean, not only beating Waverly at home is impressive enough, but they go on the road and do it by 2 touchdowns. I mean, we probably should have known then that this football team had what it took to make a run at it despite its record. Is that kind of how you feel too? I guess that's what you were basically saying after that win over Waverly. They really felt like, hey, nobody can stop us, right?
Well, I don't know that they felt like nobody could stop them because, again, they played a pretty tough schedule, I think. But sure. I think they felt like that schedule was going to get them ready for this moment. And so here we are, and we'll see how it goes.
Mo, I brought this up earlier because we had Scott Ramsey on talking about, the concept of once the city goes ahead and builds the Dome Stadium, he made the comment that he wants to see Nashville bid for the state championships again. Is that an automatic if we build a dome?
I would like to think that there would be mutual interest in something like that, between the TSSAA and the city of Nashville. I think the biggest drawback to playing those games maybe at a Nissan Stadium on grass as you're talking about 9 games in 3 days when the Titans are still in season.
Right.
Obviously, with artificial turf, you take that concern out of the equation. And, you know, George, when we were down at SEC Media Days back in July, we had an opportunity to go over to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and they've got a big display up on one of the walls down there with helmets of all of the GHSAA state champions. And I mean, they host the state championships at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know why that wouldn't be the case with a facility like that in Nashville. I mean, I threw something like that out on Twitter about 10 days or so ago, and someone said that holding a state championship in a 60,000 seat facility makes it really feel like a cavern. And I get that. I understand that maybe the environment won't be the greatest, but you know, for those kids to be able to say they played on the same field as the Titans, I think that's something that, you know, that's a lifetime experience for those guys. And I think that it's something that you've taken all of the other hurdles out of the way. I think that would be pretty deserved. Personally.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think the kids, if left to a vote, that's absolutely what they'd want.
Yeah, I mean, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, man. How many folks get to say that they played in a professional football stadium? And for some of these kids that aren't going to play professional football, that this is going to be as good as it gets on the gridiron, what an experience, what an opportunity for them. So I would like to think, I can't see why the TSSAA wouldn't be interested in it. I think Scott Ramsey is definitely saying the right things as far as that goes. Let's get it done.
Amen. Mo, have a good one tonight.
I hope to. I appreciate you guys. Y'all stay warm.
You know, we don't even have to say it. We're in November and we don't even have to say it.
We got the AC cranking in here, Mo.
Look at you. Y'all got shorts and polos on. Good to go. That's all.
Bingo. Talk to you.
All right.
Mo Patton, the Hall of Famer.
Always
reporting.
Entertaining.
Yes.
Always entertaining. And I always appreciate his insight. I like how you asked him about the state championships coming back to Nashville, because I mean, Mo's Hall of Famer, veteran sports media guy here in Nashville. Everyone respects his opinions, and you know, I like
seen it all.
I like to hear his opinions on stuff like that, because again, I mean, I think maybe he might not say this, but I think, you know, people like Mo, I think their opinion holds a little weight when certain authorities hear them. And so I always like to hear his opinion on stuff like that.
Billy, what do you got over there?
Billy's just surfing the web. He's not really. He's looking at what Vanderbilt's, you know, going to do this weekend against the Gamecocks.
You want me to give you a little hint on that?
Dude, I think they're going to win. I know you're not high on them.
I actually picked them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I try to call it the way I see it.
I thought for sure you were going to go South Carolina. Wow.
Nope.
When's the last time you picked Vandy to win a game against an SEC team?
It's got to be more than 25 games ago.
Nixon administration.
Oh man.
No.
I do. I think they win tomorrow.
I do too.
I really do. I hope they do.
And I'll tell you why. Because I think Spencer Rattler is a dud.
Man, has anyone fallen further from grace than Spencer Rattler? I mean,
he was never in grace, though. I mean,
well, I feel like I saw his name preseason around potentially Maxwell / Heisman.
But he's never proven himself on the field.
No,
even at Oklahoma. I mean, I was looking at him saying, I don't think he's very good. I mean, he had some moments maybe at Oklahoma, but he never actually played to what he was hyped up to be.
He may have also been shell-shocked. That fan base was brutal on him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, we don't want to ask George about his opinion on quarterbacks after, Will Levi.
Yeah.
First of all, it's Will Levis.
I know it is.
Okay?
I know it is. I know.
And to say he stunk up the joint Saturday would be an understatement.
Oh, man.
Boy. And he's still a first-round projected draft pick.
That I couldn't believe. Next day, they're still talking about him as first rounder.
It is going to be very interesting, because when they get to the combine, that's where a lot of this stuff shakes out.
Sure.
Where the GMs say, first round doesn't look like first round, or fourth round looks like first round. A lot of things change at that combine.
I think listen, he's built the right way, I think. I mean, when he came out in that presser before the Tennessee game and he had, cut off shirt, he's built like somebody,
he's a big kid.
Like who should be, slinging the football in the NFL. I just don't. 98 yards against 130th ranked pass defense.
That says it all.
Three interceptions, 98 yards. They're 130 out of 131.
And he struggled against Ole Miss mightily. They had opportunities in that game, and he just kind of suffocated. He hasn't stepped up this year. Now, he's got some more games to play, and he's got all the makings of a guy that could be a big-time NFL quarterback, but he hasn't performed.
Their season's at a little crossroads tomorrow.
Yeah, it is.
Missouri surprised me a week ago. They were way better at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
They were not very good against Vandy 2 weeks ago. Vandy should have won that game and had no clue how to win it. And I was very surprised. I know we got to go. Tell me where we're going.
We have Casey Patrick on the line with us.
He's at Hardin County.
Casey has been talking some smack. And Casey, I think we need to get into this.
Get away from the band while you're at it.
I've been trying. They just keep getting louder the further away I walk. I promise.
Hey, go
Casey,
Tigers, baby.
Repeat after me. You may not be the best bowler at the Plaster and Friends bowling night.
No, I won't repeat that. I'm the best bowler every bowling alley I walked into, so I don't know why that would change. I was going there the other day.
I cannot wait until November 28th.
Well, let me say this, Casey. There's some others that are in this competition.
Okay.
You're not head and shoulders above some of them. You just need to know that.
Ask them. No, they'll know who I am. Ask them.
Case, listen, I don't think he coaches bowling at Creekwood because he's bad at it.
Oh, no. I know he's got ability. He's not some slappy.
I expect him to come in with his own ball. He's got
two of them.
His own shoes.
Don't bring your own ball to a charity event.
That's how you know he's legit.
I'm bringing 2 balls and my $300 pair of shoes. I'm going to look fly while I'm doing it.
Oh, Lord.
I can't wait.
Maybe we need to give the check back.
I cannot wait.
Even for charity, I'm not sure we're ready for this.
Casey, talk to me. How the heck did you end up in Hardin County tonight? Obviously Creekwood's down there, but, what are you expecting from this football game?
And secondly, where is Hardin County?
It's in Savannah, Tennessee.
I'm down in Savannah tonight. I will say Creekwood's had a few good weeks. Their defense has been really strong the last month and a half. They've only given up 6 points. They've only given up – they haven't given up more than 6 points in their last 5 games or so. So they were able to fight their way into the playoffs. That's why we're down here in Savannah. But I think Hardin County is going to be a much tougher test for Creekwood than some of the teams they have been playing. It's going to be a tight ball game. At least I hope so. I don't want to see either one of these teams really run away with it. We're in the first round of the playoffs, so you hope everybody came to play tonight. But it should be a close ball game. It's going to be whoever wins the line of scrimmage.
Casey, I'm just looking down this Hardin County schedule here, and that team could put up some points. They've scored 70 once. They've scored over 50 twice, over 40 twice. What do you know about that offense that makes them so potent?
Well, since I've been here for about an hour now, I've had a few of the folks come tell me they've actually worked on their passing game a little bit this year, and it's always been a little bit a part of the Tigers and what they do here at Hardin County. But especially this year, they tried to amp up the air attack, and I think it's obviously. You're looking at the scores. I think it's obviously helped them. But I will say, I think Creekwood, as I say that, they give up about a 15-yard pass play. But I think Creekwood will be one of the better defenses that they face. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch. See who executes better.
Casey, I got another question for you. So Hardin County had a bye week last week. Their game against Pure Youth got canceled. Creekwood, of course, got to play. Do you think there's anything to that? Any rust that Hardin County may have to knock off tonight?
Well, I think Creekwood fans would hope so. I think, and Creekwood, Creekwood had a really good week last week. beat Lawrence County 36-0. So, the Red Hawks were able to, stay in that rhythm. Hardin County, not so much. Let's maybe see what happens. And, like I said, Creekwood, surely they'll hope that they are a little rusty.
I'm gonna pass it over to George after this, Casey. But I'll after we get off here, I'll text you the address of my grandma's. I'll get you a good meal tonight. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Listen, she may not even know who he is.
My grandma,
George.
My grandma.
Casey, don't take this the wrong way. How many perfect games have you bowled?
In league or in practice or both?
Whatever.
My man, just.
I want to say I'm up to 12 perfect games.
Really?
Yeah. And I bowled. I shot 770 Wednesday night in league. I shot 256, 259, and 255, which is pretty good and pretty consistent. So, I'm ready to go. I've never been scared of any competition for bowling. I'm not going to be stupid about it, but I am ready to go see who's there and see what I can do. Plus, I like that bowling alley you're in.
Good place. They have, first of all, they did a terrific job a year ago. Bring your appetite. We'll have a good buffet meal as you get started. Casey, looking forward to having you, and look forward to hearing from you again later.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Casey Patrick reporting from a bowling alley near you. I almost told him, Billy, to find a bowling alley in Hardin County and practice up.
Listen, I don't know if you know this, George, but Hardin County is the queens of bowling in the state of Tennessee. They win it year after year after year after year. That's what they do in Hardin County. I'm not even joking. Not joking. I mean, I'll put it to you. They're so dedicated. After winning the state championships, they fly to national tournaments in Ohio like a week later and just continue to bowl. That's just what they do in Hardin County.
Billy, did you know all that?
I didn't know all that.
Yeah.
I certainly did not.
No,
the home of the Tigers. My dad's from Savannah. So I've been down there plenty of times. It's a good little town. It's far away. Casey drove a good bit.
It's funny. My uncle actually has a lake house down there very close to Decatur County Riverside High School. So they're in like Parsons, Tennessee, that area. So I'm familiar with those neck of the woods as well.
I don't have any relatives in Hardin County.
I didn't think so, George.
I didn't think so.
I got a great line. I can't use it. Should we go to a break?
Yes, we should.
I think that'd be a really good idea. Most of the games are just underway within the last 5 minutes. We'll check out scores and more when we come back. The show is Friday Night Live, and this is Main Street Media Television.
So, I got a DUI. Mom, Dad.
Why didn't you just call someone for a ride?
I wasn't thinking ahead. I didn't think I was gonna get caught. Yeah, my best friend Tim.
Still coming to my bachelor party next month?
This DUI cost me 10 grand. So, no. Yeah, you, in the back.
Did you know I almost died when you hit me?
I didn't think this would affect so many people.
Think it was worth it?
No more questions.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around. Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Run your name, sir. You are right now?
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
At Miss Lucille's, we go for apple pie. A place that feels like a home away from home. A comfortable place to bring your family from out of town. It's a place where great conversations are had. It's a place where you can shop 200 small businesses in one location. It's a place for you to shop for gifts for any occasion or just to treat yourself. Come on down to Miss Lucille's. You'll be glad you did.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
.7:11 is the time, and we welcome all of you back to Friday Night Live. Billy, in the proverbial pick to click, what team got on the board first tonight from the Middle Tennessee area?
Let's see here, George. The in the inaugural pick to click. What did you say? Inaugural?
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, kind of our own little pick to click.
Well, I once again got logged out of Main Street Prep's Twitter for some reason.
We've got Mount Juliet leading Lincoln County 7-0.
Mm-hmm.
We have Mount Pleasant leading their game 7-0 over Scotts Hill.
Okay.
We've got Springfield leading Memphis Central 6-0 after the PAT was blocked. We've got Oakland leading Shelbyville Central 7-0. So got a few scores coming in.
Yeah, Oakland. That was the one I saw. 7-0. Devin Crenshaw rumbled for a 22-yard touchdown on 4th and short, but the PAT was blocked. So Springfield leads Memphis Central 6-0 there.
Franklin Road Academy just scores a touchdown to take a 7-0 lead over Grace Christian. So let's see. Where is Oliver Springs at tonight? Because they are, they're up on Cosby. Yeah. Cosby leads 28-7 over Oliver Springs. Got that one as well. So
Knoxville Catholic leads Christian Brothers 7-0 early in that first quarter. That's a pretty good one.
Couple of college games about midway through the second quarter. Duke leads at Boston College 17-7. And here's one where we believe that seats are still available. UMass 10, UConn 10, 3 minutes left, first half.
How much you think it costs to get a ticket to that game?
Well, first of all, I heard a little sarcasm out of Billy. UConn is about to be bowl eligible. Jim Mora has done an incredible job there.
You're kidding.
I'm dead serious.
Who have they beaten?
Well, now that I'm not sure about.
I have to look this up.
Well, you look it up. They are close to bowl eligible.
That is unbelievable.
On the question of what would it cost to get in, not much.
You think they're paying you?
I think it's possible.
You think it's one of those jokes that's like, oh man, I can't believe somebody broke into my car.
What time does the game start? What time do you want it to start?
Yeah, exactly.
So
where we're going?
They started the season with a loss at Utah State.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Central Connecticut State. That's one win.
That Central Connecticut has always been good.
It's been a big rivalry between the two of them.
No question. Intra-state.
It's no bigger than the battle for Connecticut.
Oh, man.
I know the SEC has the "it just means more" mantra. I think they stole that from Connecticut.
Thank you.
They got boat raced by Syracuse and Michigan. They lost to NC State. They beat Fresno State.
Ooh, fighting Derrick Cars.
Yep. They beat FIU. They lost to Ball State.
That's a bad
But
loss.
they beat Boston College.
They sure did last week.
They
sure did.
Oh.
Talk about an up and down season.
Yeah, man. BC's had an up and down year.
Speaking of BC, Nashville's Alex Broom is up there in Boston College, making a name for himself. I know he had a couple touchdowns a few weeks back, so getting a quality education up on Chestnut Hill, I believe is what they call it.
Yeah, great college town.
I've done a game there.
Yeah, really nice college town.
Froze.
They host Liberty next weekend, and then they got to go to Army. So, they very well could win 7-8 games this year.
So, Billy, you want a road trip story?
Let's hear it, George.
Boston College.
Let's hear it.
So this would have been, I want to say 96. And Vandy basketball, hold on, had a 2-game road trip at Memphis. And then we were flying to Boston on Sunday morning. We were going to play BC on Monday night. And we're probably about an hour out of Boston. And Zach, I'm not a great flyer. I don't enjoy bumpy conditions.
Okay, I was going to say,
he doesn't enjoy a bumpy ride.
I didn't know. Well, when he said he's not a great flyer, I didn't know if he could carry everybody as far as he needed to.
No,
but you just mean inside the plane. I thought I thought you were carrying the passengers.
No,
gotcha.
I'm. Although my dad worked for an airline for 42 years, I'm not there with.
You're
him.
Not there. Gotcha.
No. So the pilot breaks in and says that we're going to have, he doesn't say turbulence, extreme turbulence. Oh my God, did I go into the death grip?
So he was driving on 840 before he got paved then.
Exactly.
George, how many times have you flown in your life?
A lot.
Really?
And you're still not over it.
We had, I'll tell you what sort of did it. We had a football road trip to Kansas. And, now when you hear the words wind shear, it's serious. Back then, nobody quite knew what they know now. And we had a big wind shear issue headed to the University of Kansas. And we had to divert to Kansas City and we came within an eyelash of one of the wings touching down wrong. And
I'm with you. Whenever I
That got
fly,
me.
I'm like, this could be the one. I'm not trying to like be like sick here or anything, but like,
yeah,
I that does cross my mind every time I fly. I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, you never know.
No, absolutely.
But it never happens. So.
No, hopefully it never does. But
this segment brought to you by Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere for a while.
yeah, no, I mean, listen, it would be. No, I think everybody probably has that initial thought, maybe that fear, that intrusive thought. That
It creeps
enters your
in
brain.
every time.
But you know what? If there's a way to go out, there's probably. I mean, it's probably as
No,
good,
let's
good of
not
a way
go
of
there.
ending.
Let's not go.
Quick
far.
and painless. You know,
This is a high school football show. It was my fault to begin with, but then when you go down that road, that's not what the show is about.
fair enough.
Do you have any other scores?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. Cane Ridge leads 7-0 over Gallatin. Their quarterback scored on a 40-yard touchdown run, so they've got an early lead. Apparently, Gallatin's best running back, Jaheim Merriweather, not playing tonight either on the sidelines. Not really sure why that is, but listen, I mean, that's arguably their best player. So when you don't have your best player, it makes it tough to win.
Throughout the evening, we will do some live listen-in twos.
Yep.
I may not have said that right, but at some point, we're going to listen to another game.
And I have Father Ryan and MUS is on 7:90 a.m. The Bet in Memphis.
Do you have it ready to go?
I do have it ready to go.
I don't doubt he's had it ready since 4 this afternoon. So are we going into the
we can go into it.
Yeah,
this is not a Father Ryan broadcast.
Yeah, let's go into it just for a few minutes.
Let's just
because
check
I
it.
know we've got a call coming in around 7:30, so that's 10 minutes away. So
Perfect.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear some.
Works out great for
Let's
us.
hear some football. Not football, really.
That's one of the problems when you do a show like this and you try to do a live listen into. We will go there.
I'll take the
momentarily.
blame for that.
You just couldn't wait, could you?
I couldn't wait.
He couldn't. I mean, he wanted to give Father Ryan some love. I mean, I understand it's his alma mater. They're showing well at MUS. If they win, Billy, where will they have to go next week? Is it NBA?
Back to Baylor.
Back to Baylor. Ugh.
Yep.
Because I know if Pope Prep wins against Briarcrest tonight, they have to go to Brentwood Academy next week. So,
yeah, the more you win in this league in the playoffs, the harder it gets.
Yep. So Lipscomb Academy is going to experience that next year.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Mhm.
I really am. I'm genuinely excited to see how Lipscomb Academy fares.
Do you think? Let me ask you this. I mean, because they've obviously been night and day better than anybody that they've faced this season. Is it a fear? Or, I guess, how would you categorize your thoughts of bringing in Lipscomb Academy to 3A? Do you think it's going to be one of those situations where they're just going to dominate everybody and show that the league is maybe not as great as everybody perceives it to be?
I think they're still going to be dominant to an extent. But when we talked about the gauntlet all the time,
Right.
I mean, every year we bring that up, at least high school football.
Effect.
Yes, the cumulative effect. Watson Brown brings it up on our show every day. He says it's not playing Alabama, it's playing Alabama, Georgia, and then Tennessee, and then LA. I mean, it's the cumulative effect. So I think, maybe they reel off a bunch of wins. They 6-0 towards the end of the season. You got to play a really good team again.
Yeah.
They keep piling. Maybe, they catch Lipscomb on a bad day. And, I'm not saying they're going to be down next year by any means.
Yeah.
But, it's getting tougher for them.
There's one of these going on right now on the college level. And it's a story we're probably going to talk about next week on the air. It's gotten out that Gonzaga is kind of flirting around mostly with the Big 12, but it's also gotten out that they've talked
Pac-12
to the Pac-12. And I think did I see Big East?
Maybe, but I think Pac-12 and Big 12 are the two main culprits there.
So lo and behold, Bob Huggins, head coach at West Virginia, fired back in some sort of media scrum and said, I got news for Gonzaga. They get in this league, they're going to get their hat handed to them because, as he said, it's this cumulative effect of, I've had a lot of fun over the years. Every year we get to basketball season and I'm like, I'll believe Gonzaga wins it all when I see it. And they were 2 or 3 years ago. I think most people thought they were the best team and they didn't win. And that brought out all the Gonzaga haters, which people think I am. I'm not. But my point to it is, until Gonzaga wins it all, I'm not buying it. And I'm with Huggins. They go to the Big 12, they're going to find out who daddy is.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you just said, George. Honestly, I'm like
now,
you.
I don't know enough to know if that's a comparison.
I think it is. I think it's, just moving up leagues, moving up in competition. I think it is the same across all sports. Obviously, the levels vary. But I'm like you, George. I mean, Gonzaga just running through what they run through every year. Until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. And like you said, if they go into the Big 12 or Pac-12 and it's, day after day after day, the Kansas, the Oklahoma, Okie State, West Virginia, Baylor, everybody that you just named. Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, cumulative effect. I would think, though, that they would go Big 12 before Pac-12 because it feels like maybe the Pac-12 could be losing USC and UCLA. You would think.
The Pac-12 has snubbed Gonzaga for years, wanted nothing to do with them. They're stuck in this league where their idea of a tough road trip is to go play the San Diego Toreros.
I was going to say St. Mary's.
Well, St. Mary's is the one that.
Yeah. That's the one challenger, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody's going toe-to-toe with them, it's them.
Yeah.
But it was funny that Huggins came out. Billy, I see well, do we want to go to Ryan?
I was going to say switch it up. Maybe we have Riverdale and Lebanon on 560 WNSR. We could go there.
Our buddy Joe Fisher on the call with the
Yes.
And just like that, we're back. But we'll get you back to that game here shortly. Billy, I noticed we've got a scoreboard pulled up here on the television. Do we want to hit everybody with a little scoreboard update real quick?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let me you take the first region and I'll catch up with you on that scoreboard.
Okay, let's start in Division 1, Region 1. Chucky Doak leads Austin East at the half, 20-8. Oakdale up on Cloudland right now, 22-16. Daniel Boone leads Knoxville Halls, 23-7. Bearden leads Dobbins Bennett, 7-6. Elizabethton leads Carter, 35-7. Greenville up on Fulton, 37-0. Hampton leads Oneida, 18-0. Sevier County over Morristown West at the half, 14-10. Science Hill all over Bradley Central at the half, 14-0. South Green 26, Rockwood 8, Unaca 24, Greenback 6. These are at the half. In the third quarter of this one, Pigeon Forge leads West Green 35-0.
Moving over to Region 2, Alcoa all over Johnson County at the half, 35-0. It's Anderson County 48, Seymour 0 at halftime. Coalfield all over North Green at the half, 42-0. 17-0 over Farragut over Jefferson County at halftime. It's Gatlinburg Pittman 35, Unicoi County 7 at half. Gibbs all over Granger at 35-0 at the halfway mark. It's Tennessee High School leading Knox Central 7-6 in the third quarter. Maryville all over Morristown East at the break 42-0. It's Monterey 13, Happy Valley 0 in the second quarter. Oliver Springs leads Cosby 28-7 at halftime. It's West Knoxville over David Crockett at half 49-0. And York Institute leads Cumberland Gap 20-0 in the first quarter.
Moving on to Region 3, Bledsoe County leads Harpeth 7-0. Stewart's Creek and Coffee County are tied at 7 in the first quarter. East Hamilton leads DeKalb County at the half 14-7. Riverdale and Lebanon, no score for that one right now. That is the Class 6A state playoffs WNSR mid-state checkdown game of the week. We will get you back over to that game here shortly. In the third quarter, Loudoun leads Cannon County 9-0. Oak Ridge leads Ray County 15-7 at the half. Powell leads Ottawa 35-7 at the half. Also at the half, Red Bank leads Macon County 14-7. Sweetwater leads Grundy County 35-0. And Tyner Academy is up on Trousdale County 21-7 at the half.
Moving over to Region 4, Blackman all over Cookeville 28-7 in the first quarter. It's Clay County 14, Cell Creek 0 in the first quarter. Looking for scores for East Robertson, Polk County, Giles County, Brainerd, and Gordonsville, Lookout Valley. But at halftime, it's McMinn County 17, Campbell County nothing. Oakland all over Shelbyville in the first quarter, 21-0. We need a Sequatchie County McMinn Central score if you got one. Stone Memorial leads Hickson 14-0. We need Upperman and Chattanooga Central if you've got it. Walker Valley up 14-7 over Carnes at the break. And we need Westmoreland Meigs County if you got it.
Well, now, if somebody has it, exactly how would they reach you?
Well, they know to tag us on Main Street Preps Twitter. They could email the show as well. There's various ways to get in touch. And our audience does a pretty good job of communicating with us. So I think probably going to reach out to us via Twitter to update us. If I had to guess, no one really emails the show these days, but mostly,
maybe they can fax it over to us.
Maybe they can. Maybe they can. Moving over to Region 5, Beach leads McGavick 21-0.
Oh, you took my region, Zach.
Clarksville and John Overton tied at 0 in the second quarter. It's White House 3, East Nashville nothing in the second quarter. Fayetteville all over South Bolton 32.
Not cool. Not cool, man.
It's Moore County 7, McEwen nothing. Mount Juliet all over Lincoln County 21-6. Smith County leads Sycamore 14-0, and White County over Franklin County 14-0.
Get some water there, Zach. Cane Ridge up on Gallatin in the first quarter. How about that? 13-0. So Metro impressing so far. Decatur County, Riverside all over Loretto 27-0 in the first quarter. Dresden leads Eagleville 7-0 in the first quarter of that one. McKenzie leads Wayne County 14-0. Need a score for Nolensville West, Wilson Central, so get that over to us. Page and Green Hill right now tied at 7 in the first quarter of that one. So, Zach, a lot of big-time games in Region 6.
Yes, there are. A lot of big-time games in Region 6. Excited to see how it shakes out. Sorry, I was pulling Adam Schefter there and trying to get somebody lined up to call in. But moving down to Region 7, Dyersburg.
He makes, by the way, $9 million a year.
Who, Adam Schefter?
He sure does.
Good for him.
Does Zach.
So somebody's got to. Dyersburg leads Raleigh, Egypt 15-6. Haywood over Kirby 20-0. It's Henry County 21, Dyer County nothing. Peabody all over Bluff City 21-0. Germantown 14. Oh, Germantown 14, Ravenwood nothing is a kind of shocker. Memphis Central looks to have taken the lead over Springfield 7-6. And we need a Westview Kip Memphis score if you got it.
Moving on to Region 8 in the first quarter, South Gibson leads Craigmont 7-6, and Southwind leads Portland 7-0. I'll just stay here with East and Middle Region in Division 2.
What do you know about old Craigmont?
I don't know anything about Craigmont. Macaulay leads St. Benedict 42-0 in that one. Pope currently leads Briarcrest. Last time I checked, I got a text from, who was that from? Forget who it was from, but somebody texted me. Pope leads Briarcrest 7-0 in that one. So good one over there. Zach, we've also got CPA leading Boyd Buchanan right now 7-3 in the second quarter of that one. DCA leads Fayette Academy 14-0, and Franklin Road Academy leads Grace Christian of Knoxville 7-0.
We got MTCS up 23-0 on Tipton Rosemark as well. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Clarksville leads 7-0 over John Overton. You've got Mount Juliet with a 21-6 lead over Lincoln County. As I mentioned, Memphis Central leads Springfield 7-6, and Lebanon leading Riverdale 14-0.
That is your scoreboard update, brought to you by Donley Timmons Custom Builders. You can find them on the web at donleytimmons.com for all your custom home building needs.
And one more score. Sorry, George. With 10:53 left to go in the second quarter, KJ Chapman with a powerful move put Springfield back in front. His 11-yard reception plus the 2-point conversion to Camarian Flair gives the Jackets a 14-7 lead.
Shall we go to a break?
Let's go to a break.
7:33 here on Friday Night Live. This is Main Street Media Television.
So, I got a DUI. Mom, Dad.
Why didn't you just call someone for a ride?
I wasn't thinking ahead. I didn't think I was gonna get caught. Yeah, my best friend Tim.
Still coming to my bachelor party next month?
This DUI cost me 10 grand, so no. Yeah, you, in the back.
Did you know I almost died when you hit me?
I didn't think this would affect so many people.
Think it was worth it?
No more questions.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Run your name, sir. You know where you are right now? Now.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615 847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
At Miss Lucille's, we go for apple pie. A place that feels like a home away from home. A comfortable place to bring your family from out of town. It's a place where great conversations are had. It's a place where you can shop 200 small businesses in one location. It's a place for you to shop for gifts for any occasion or just to treat yourself. Come on down to Miss Lucille's. You'll be glad you did.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
So good to have the Titan Drum and Bugle Corps joining us for Friday Night Live. Billy,
George?
tell me where we're going. Are we going Brady or are we going Lebanon Blue Devils?
Brady said he was going to call in at halftime, so he's getting close to halftime.
I actually have Brady right now.
Nice.
Oh,
so
bring him up.
Yeah, producer with the magic touch there. Brady, how are things going out there with you tonight?
Well, I could put on my best Brady McIntyre impression if I wanted to. But, you got Blaine Keller here, Springfield and Memphis.
Blaine, I'm so sorry about that. Blaine Keller is our guest here on Friday Night Live. Blaine, how is your game going tonight?
Well, Springfield's getting a little bit of a scare put in them here in the second quarter. The number 2 seeded Jackets are hosting Memphis Central, who's 5-5, but is in the red zone right now. It's a 14-7 ball game in favor of Springfield.
Blaine, is this a football game where athletes are matching athletes? Sometimes Springfield can overwhelm teams with their ability on the perimeters. Is this a matchup where it's athlete against athlete everywhere on the field?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair comparison. I mean, you look at some of the athletes that Memphis Central has, and it's kind of similar to last year's Kenwood team, if you're familiar with that. Mm-hmm. Really smart quarterback play from Law Wright. They've got a lot of athletic receivers on the outside that are, quite frankly, kind of beating Springfield at man coverage right now.
Blaine, you sent out a really good piece of knowledge that I had no idea about. It makes sense. Dustin Wilson 8-0 at Springfield in first-round games. How was he able to get through to his team in this first round usually? I mean, what have you found from just being around the program?
Well, I mean, when you look at the TSSAA playoffs, I mean, to start off, a lot of times you end up with, games that are going to be lopsided. So I think that might play into it, but of course you got to give credit to what Dustin Wilson has done in his tenure at Springfield. First couple of years were some down years, losing seasons, but since then it's just been really great football, and they've stuck to that brand. They haven't gone away from it, and it's helped them win 8 straight playoff games in the first round.
They're just continuing to build that tradition over there at Springfield. Brady, defensively is what I want to ask you about for the Jackets. When we get into late season football, and I know it's not 50 degrees out there tonight, it's really good football weather. But typically in November and December, you gotta lean on your defense and you gotta run the football. How do you feel about those two units for Springfield and their chances of potentially going on a run this postseason?
Yeah, Zach, when you were in Robertson County, you were probably familiar with those Springfield teams that relied on defense and relied on their run game. And when Devin Crenshaw went out at Beach a couple weeks ago, they went back to that against Portland, and they went back to that against Northwest. Back-to-back shutouts for this team against those two clubs. And, the running game, they've had 457 yards and 8 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. So, if you want a recipe for success outside of getting Devin Crenshaw healthy, it's running the football.
Okay, so Memphis, Tennessee, that's where this report's coming from. And
nope, it's coming from Springfield, George.
Oh, is it coming from?
It's coming from Springfield.
Well, then I was wrong again.
Hey, we're on a roll tonight.
Absolutely.
Man, we are not on our A game. I apologize, Blaine. You don't deserve this.
Well, I was half tempted to put on a Brady McAtee impression the whole time and kind of go off tweets and pretend that I'm at Overton, Clarksville. Maybe Brady could have done the same.
I would have loved to hear that.
Okay, let's hear what it would sound like.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, Clarksville is hosting its first home playoff game since 2018. Isaac Shelby's just done a great job with that program, and they've really relied on their run game down the stretch. I don't know. I don't have much more than that.
Oh,
guys,
you're doing good.
I've been around Brady long enough. Yeah.
You're doing good. Thank you for the report.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Blaine.
He was either in Springfield or Memphis.
Well, hey, you had a 50-50 chance of getting it right, and you got it wrong.
And got it wrong.
I'd rather be in Springfield.
So how about those Lebanon Blue Devils?
How about those Lebanon Blue Devils? We are going to check into them right now on 560 AM WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Joe Fisher and Greg Pogue on the call.
So you heard that a moment ago, Lebanon leading 14-0. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, a little surprised, but not surprised. I mean, yes, Riverdale has played very well to end this football season, as I said, in the 6 o'clock hour. But Lebanon was a really good football team. I know they have 2 losses on the season, but they've got a lot of talent, and of course, led by Jalen Absent at quarterback. They're a really good football team, and so it's not surprising that they're winning. I thought maybe Riverdale would show up a little bit more because they had been playing well to end the season. But Lebanon, I think, is a sneaky good team. They'll get to the quarterfinals. They'll lose to Oakland and have their season come to an end there. But Lebanon, if they were in another region, I think they could absolutely make a run at Chattanooga. But unfortunately for them, they're going to have to play Oakland in the quarterfinal round.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Lebanon and Riverdale, this is a pretty good first round matchup. Also, I mean, I think we're seeing more and more each year, more and more competitive first round matchups, and we should like that as people that cover high school football.
Yeah, because in years gone by, it has not always been that way.
No, and I think that's a good sign for high school football in the mid-state moving forward because you look at the teams out there, like a team like Riverdale. George, I mean, even back in the day, we're honestly used to seeing them dominate and kind of have an easier path to the championship or to the semis. But for them to run into a Lebanon team in the first round, that's more of a challenge. So, I like these games where like Green Hill Page, Cane Ridge, they're competitive right now. Riverdale is competitive right now as well. So I love those competitive first round games because that means you have a quality of football that has improved over the years.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because there, like you said, there's many opportunity or many times where you see teams not even playing their first round game because it's such a mismatch,
right?
Or you see like Alcoa. I forget who Alcoa was playing tonight, but
they're
I believe
playing Loretto.
Yeah, they were. No, Loretto's 2A. I forget who they're playing, but they were up like 42-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Beach up 42-0 on McGavick in the second quarter. I mean, as well as McGavick has played this year, they're losing 42-0 in the first quarter or in the first half to Beach. So there is still some discrepancy in the playoffs. And Billy and I were talking about this last week. It's like how do we fix this? How do we prevent this from happening? And unfortunately, we don't fix it because once the cat's out of the bag, there's no putting the cat back in the bag. And what the cat is more money in the TSSAA's pocket by adding these extra teams to the playoffs because we've cost like $10, maybe $12 to go to a playoff game. I think TSSAA keeps 30% of that, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even more than that. So what I think they should do is go back to the way that it was when you were coming up in this game. And by sending only 2 teams, the top 2 teams from the region to the playoffs instead of the top 4, I think then you would see a lot better football being played.
Let's go to Clarksville and Overton. Brady McAtamney. We are actually with Brady McAtamney, who is at that Clarksville-Overton game. Brady, I just mistook Blaine for you in our last call.
I did hear that. If you guys want, I can be Blaine for you guys, but I'm much better at being Brady.
We'll take you as Brady. We'll take you just as Brady. Let's talk about this game, though, so far. Overton's last second heave there before the half was went out of bounds off of it was caught, but out of bounds. So kind of a crazy end of that first half. Clarksville leads 14-0. What have you seen from that one? And has Overton challenged Clarksville at all tonight?
Yeah, I'd say they've given them some challenges. That last play, that was from Overton. They threw that from about the 20, so they have gotten close-ish to the end zone. They also had the ball at the 21 at one point, but threw an interception to CHS's Camille Childs. So they have gotten close a couple times, but haven't been able to turn it into points. And when you're playing a good team like CHS, that is really going to hurt.
For CHS, obviously it's been an interesting year. You've covered them really most of the way. You had their head coach on MSP North show this week. what's his message to the team? I mean, what does he see in his guys, and what do you see in this Clarksville team in this postseason, and kind of how deep do you think they can go?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just playing this like it's just a regular game. I know it's win or go home, and they know that, of course. But they don't want to, treat this game like it's any different from, a regular game. They don't want to overblow it. They don't want to get themselves too hyped up. They don't want to get themselves too low if things start going poorly. Excuse me. And that's just kind of been the mantra of Isaac Shelby as a coach ever since he's been here. Now, as far as how far I think they can go, I think they can I had them to win this game. It's looking good for them so far. They do get the ball out of halftime, so they'll have a chance to go up 3 scores out of the break. As far as next week, they'll be playing either Gallatin or Cane Ridge. Gallatin, a team they just beat last week, 28-7. Cane Ridge, a team they beat in the playoffs last year. So they're going to feel pretty decent about whichever matchup they do get. I would imagine it's Cane Ridge. I believe they're up on Gallatin right now. But I think that either one there is a winnable game. As far as the third round, you can probably expect them to face Beach there. And that'll probably be the end of the line if I had to guess for CHS.
Beach, Brady, just for your knowledge, Beach up on McGavick 49-0, surprisingly to me. Honestly, I can't believe they're up that big. But I want to go back to your team, or not your team, but the game that you're covering in Clarksville High School. Listen, this is a really good offense that John Overton puts on the field. I know Edmondson in the backfield. I know that Riker Hodge at quarterback. I'm drawing a blank on their receiver, but listen, they have a 3-headed monster on the offensive side of the football that can score points. What is Clarksville doing defensively to mitigate that?
Yeah, so they've done pretty decent in their passing game because Overton does throw a little bit more often than Clarksville does. But their offense does run mostly through their run game, and CHS has done a good job of not letting them break loose on any runs. Really, it's been mostly gains of between 3 and 6 yards mostly, and they've come up big on some third down plays. Force them to throw a little bit more often than maybe they'd like to. So they've done a really good job of kind of forcing them to do what the defense wants them to do.
Brady, this team just played Gallatin, a team, Gallatin, of course, wants to run A gap over and over and over again. Yep. Do you think that helped prepare them for this rushing attack tonight from John Overton?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, both teams have kind of different styles when it comes to running.
Sure.
Overton kind of uses a classic fullback look, run behind the fullback, pitch it to the outside. But I think, being able to go up against a team that does run the ball well, they face other teams this year that run the ball well, like Northeast with Cam Affey, who runs the ball very well for the Eagles. Teams like Hendersonville, who likes to run. Beach, of course, has some really good running backs. Guys like J.P. Courtney. I think they've been prepared for this kind of game against a team that, is good running the ball, but is not the best that they've seen.
Brady, I got one more question before I'm done with you. We talked preseason that this Clarksville team could make some noise, right? We said, hey, maybe they could win the region championship. We for sure think that they could be a home playoff team. They opened up the season with a tough loss to McGavick, and it could have gone sideways. From your knowledge, from your vantage point, after talking with Coach Shelby, when did it click for them? When did they realize, like, hey, we can really put it together and have a season that we think we can have?
It's tough to exactly pinpoint that because as long as I've been here, Isaac Shelby teams have kind of started slowly and then found their groove midway toward the season. I'd say it kind of became legit for them when they beat Hendersonville. That's kind of when we saw that, like, hey, these guys can be really good. Scoring 56 points on Hendersonville, not an easy task for any team. So when we saw that, I think that was kind of the point where, you see, all right, these guys are pretty good. If they were to play McGavick again, I think they'd beat them by at least 3 touchdowns. That was the worst game that they played all season by far, losing to McGavick by 5 points. They had 5 turnovers in that game, a lot of them, close to the end zone, a lot of bad snaps. I think if they played McGavick again, they'd beat them good. I think they play Springfield really tight. If they played them again, maybe they get a rematch from Beach, and we see how that goes.
I hope it does, because I think it could be a good one, George.
Hey, good report. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Sounds like we got another one in the on deck circle.
Yeah, we do actually. That is Brady not Brady. That is Casey Patrick.
Yep, Casey. Yep, I told him to call in. Perfect. Casey, can you hear me? How you doing? How's that game looking? Siri picked up. I said, hey, Casey, and Siri picked up.
Oh, my bad. No, I just now heard a voice. What's up, guys? How
Hey,
y'all?
good. How are you? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, no, we've got a 7-0 score here at halftime. Hardin County found the end zone. Nice little about a 5-yard screen or 5-yard slant, excuse me. That like I said, they found the end zone. Tigers did. So Hardin County's up 7-0 here at half. Creekwood had a chance to score with just a few seconds remaining, but their trick play was cut short around the 20.
All right. Casey, let me ask you this.
Hold on a second. Was Home Depot invited?
No, they weren't.
Casey,
I'm more of a Lowe's guy myself.
Hey, man. Hey, me too. Me too, Casey.
Blue collar.
Me too. Hey, man. Listen, 7-0. I mean, this is obviously a football game that's well within reach. When Creekwood's running off the field there, I know you said their last ditch effort sailed on them. Did it look like they had a lot of confidence going into that locker room?
Actually, it kind of seemed like I don't want to say this the wrong way, but I have the feeling that Creekwood felt like, Lord have mercy, what is that? Creekwood had a feeling like they wouldn't have this much pushback on the offensive side of the ball. I think they didn't expect Hardin County's defense to be this strong. But this coaching staff's pretty good, so I expect them to be ready for the second half.
Okay. No bowling at the intermission?
I didn't even get a chance to throw a ball. I'm too busy out here, George. I don't need any practice. I'll be good to go. I'll be ready to go whenever I need to.
Casey, are you going to get you something to eat over at the concession stand? Grandma didn't text me back.
Man, I walked all the way over there, and they had a line all the way to the bathroom. So I think I might just have to stop at I know, I guess. I might just have to stop at one of these 17 Mexican restaurants they got out here whenever this game's over.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Just tell them who you are.
No, that's fine. They'll probably let me eat for free if I, give them a little tweet shout out or something like that,
Just, Casey, just tell them you're cheering for the Big Orange tomorrow. They'll give you everything you want.
That's a big orange town down there.
That's right. Hey, they might just let me stay overnight. I might just hang out here and party with these folks if they're really like that. It might be fun tonight. I don't know.
Get you some moonshine.
There you go.
Get all your partying out because it's not happening tomorrow.
I think I'm going to party regardless because I think Tennessee can win that football game. And I know y'all think I'm crazy. I've been telling y'all the last month or so they're going to win, and everybody tells me I'm crazy, and they just keep winning.
They just keep winning, Casey. Nobody can take our joy. Nobody can steal our thunder.
I feel like for the most part, Tennessee fans are just they're enjoying it. That they want to soak this in as much as they can. They don't want to feel the pressure of, we got to go to Athens. We got to play Georgia. And that's what I'd be doing too. I mean, as a Tennessee fan.
Well, a lot of people got it the wrong way. I know Tennessee's got to go to Athens, but Georgia's got to play Tennessee.
That is correct.
That's the way everybody needs to look at it.
Right, but has Tennessee seen a road atmosphere like they're going to see tomorrow night in Athens?
I honestly, I'll go with. I don't know if y'all saw Eric Ainge's tweet yesterday, but he said that Sanford is nothing like Neyland, and I know that this isn't a comparison of the two. It should be a nice little. It should be a nice challenge for the Tennessee offense, but I mean, if they can go to LSU and play there on the road, I don't foresee Georgia really being an issue. Now, Georgia's just a better team. If Georgia wins the football game, it's not going to be because of their crowd. And I'll tell you that right now, it's going to be
right. Shout it from the rooftops. Shout it from the rooftops, Casey.
Yep.
I'm tired of hearing that. They're not. He's right, dude. There's nobody like Tennessee that can cause the effect that they have. I don't think Georgia's going to do it. I mean, it's just one of those places like the puppy dogs don't scare the University of Tennessee.
What is it about that though? I mean, obviously Neyland Stadium's a great atmosphere, but there are other great atmospheres in college football.
I think it's because the stadium, the fans are standing on top of you essentially. I mean, if you go all the way up to the top row, I mean, you're looking directly down,
straight down.
So I think just when the yells, they reverberate off the walls that are next to the field, and it's just right there in your face.
First of all, if you're going to take in that league, to me, the three noisiest places are Tennessee, A&M, and LSU at night.
Yep.
And Georgia is probably a little step below that, but it's a big place as well. It's about 93,000, 94,000 now So,
and they've got some crazy folks down there too.
yeah, I would put Georgia.
Yeah, they bark at you. I mean, how crazy do you have to be?
The way that sounds in the stadium on the kickoff.
They bark it. No,
that's awesome.
Casey, please tell these uneducated fools barking at people is not cool.
I'm not uneducated
I think it's
fool.
kind of ridiculous myself. But I will say, and I know I said this a minute ago, but I'm just going to tell you right now, everybody can talk about Sanford and talk about the crowd and everything they want to. But I promise you, tomorrow evening, after this game is over, whoever wins or loses, nobody's going to talk about the crowd. If Georgia wins this football game, it's going to be because they were able to stop Tennessee's run game and because they were able to run the ball on Tennessee's defense. And that's what people are going to talk about. They're not going to talk about the crowd. Georgia's crowd doesn't get talked about, and there's reasons for that. It's a great crowd. Don't get me wrong. They've got great fans. I know some Georgia folks. They are as crazy for their team as I am. Mm-hmm. It's different. It's not the same thing. And if Georgia wins this football game, it's not going to be because of the crowd. And you can book that 100%.
So there.
Take it to the bank.
Well, I do think, a crowd can win a game, though. I like in Neyland.
Oh, it did against Alabama.
That crowd won that game.
Yeah, but I think
the Tennessee fans beat Alabama.
I think what we're trying to say is, though, that Georgia, they don't have that kind of effort. Their fans don't have that kind of effort. They're not the same. We're not the same.
Why not? What makes them different?
Well, first off, their fans
about 10,000 more people.
Yeah, I mean that's an effect. One, they're the University of Georgia. They're not the University of Tennessee. They're a second-class citizen in terms of that fact. They didn't help build the SEC. I mean, I could go on and on of what the differences is. I mean, they're just not built that way. I mean,
differences are.
I mean, they play. I mean, their biggest game is played at a neutral site. I mean, they're a poverty program. I mean, they just don't.
Okay, that's too far. Oh, Casey, always good to check in, man.
Oh, I love it. And I will say, this is the first time all year that as a Tennessee fan, I feel like it's a coin flip. I don't have the same optimism I had going to all these other games. But I will say this. If Georgia doesn't show up, if Georgia does not show up and they show up like they played Kent State or Missouri, this game could get ugly. Yeah. Same thing for Tennessee. If Tennessee doesn't show up and play like they played these first 8 games, it could get ugly as well. But it's all about the line of scrimmage.
I'm sorry.
And I genuinely love this for college football.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we get to see a number 1 versus number 1 matchup, number 1 AP, number 1 college football playoff between the hedges, 2:30. I mean, we don't always get this every year.
One of the things that'll be interesting
surely don't.
will be to see Channel 5's rating number afterwards. I think this game has a chance to get into the 30s, which is the equivalent of a Titan playoff game. This is, and with bad weather
right,
normally
and I
tends to have people stay indoors.
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't rain in Athens tomorrow because, if you're Georgia, though, you probably kind of like a little bit of rain, maybe have some slick gloves on some Tennessee receivers. So maybe that does favor Georgia. But, I don't want that to put a damper on.
I'm just talking about the rain here.
Right. But
I'm saying for TV purposes, rainy days normally bring higher rating numbers.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it shouldn't rain in Athens, though.
They are talking about it.
Small chance.
Yeah.
30% chance.
Yeah.
Up until 2:00.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Hey, as a Tennessee fan, I kind of wouldn't mind to see it rain because I know a lot of people are going to talk about can Tennessee's passing game work in the rain and all this other stuff. I want every single challenge that you can bring this Tennessee team because this is the first Tennessee team that can beat all those challenges. I don't know if they will, but they can. So bring on everything that you can. I don't want to give Georgia any reason to think that they should have won the game afterwards if they don't. So bring the rain, bring on whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, and Casey, I think a key to this game is Cedric Tillman being back. We really haven't seen. Yeah, we saw his impact against Kentucky. He kind of it's like Kelsey with Tyreek Hill. It feels like Tillman is sort of doing that, and he did that for Jalen Hyatt last week against Kentucky. It's almost like Tillman, allowed him to have those creases because they got 2 guys on Tillman, and then Hyatt's going out there free. So I think that's something to watch. If you're Josh Heupel,
I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of formations where Tillman's out wide on one side, and then you got Hyatt on the other side, to where you got to pick a guy. You got to pick a guy because both those guys can beat you. So I think Tillman being back is huge, especially you'll see it in this Georgia game. Georgia's got a good defense, but I think that could be a key tomorrow.
Well, hey, and talking about the way formations and everything work out to them, something that I would not be surprised to see tomorrow from Tennessee. You always see Cedric and Jalen Hyatt on one side of the field. On the other side of the field, it's usually Brew by himself and out motion a tight end out there. But I'd really love to see Squirrel White run the mirror route to whatever Jalen's running on the other side. I think you could really stretch a really, really good defense.
Well, and it's such a good chess
tomorrow.
It's such a good chess match. I mean, you got Kirby Smart.
Between two master chess players, too. I mean, these guys are smart. They know exactly what
Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp on the defense on one side with a lot of talent, and Josh Heupel, Hendon Hooker, and this great offense. Man, I can't wait. I could talk about it all night.
Me too.
You're going to get your chance.
Yeah. I got second half coming up, fellas. I'm going to step out, but y'all have a good evening. Let me know if I need to call back. I'll let y'all know what's going on around here.
Casey, thank you, as always.
Thank y'all. Oh, for sure. Thank y'all.
Casey needs to open up.
What do you mean?
Well, he needs to tell us how he really feels.
About what?
Everything. He can't just sugarcoat.
I feel like he's opened up pretty well to us.
Billy, it's a joke.
I thought you were serious.
No, even I picked up on the sarcasm there, Billy.
Man, I'm sorry.
Billy needs
Billy's struggling.
He needs a bang. That's what he needs.
Well,
that's what he needs.
It's been a busy week.
It has been. Let's go to a break. It's 10 minutes after 8:00. A lot of the games have, as you can imagine, gone to halftime. Some are beginning the third quarter action. Either way, this is Friday Night Live on Main Street Media Television.
So, I got a DUI. Mom, Dad.
Why didn't you just call someone for a ride?
I wasn't thinking ahead. I didn't think I was gonna get caught. Yeah, my best friend Tim.
Still coming to my bachelor party next month?
This DUI cost me 10 grand. So, no. Yeah, you, in the back.
Did you know I almost died when you hit me?
I didn't think this would affect so many people.
You think it was worth it?
No more questions.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bar Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the Happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
So, I got a DUI. Mom, Dad.
Why didn't you just call someone for a ride?
I wasn't thinking ahead. I didn't think I was gonna get caught. Yeah, my best friend Tim.
Still coming to my bachelor party next month?
This DUI cost me 10 grand. So, no. Yeah, you, in the back.
Did you know I almost died when you hit me?
I didn't think this would affect so many people.
You think it was worth it?
No more questions.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
All right, we're back. Friday Night Live just after 8:20 here. Week 1 of the playoffs. I can't believe it. We're already in the playoffs. Halftime, a lot of these games, we see a bunch of scoreboards up there or scores up there. Yeah.
Would you like me to get into some of them?
Well, I mean, do you want to do a scoreboard update? I think we could do one instead of just sitting here wasting airspace. I think we could do a scoreboard update.
Go right ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I got to pull it up here. Give me 1 second here.
Well, it is on the screen in front of you.
Yeah, that is true. I don't have great eyesight, though. I'll be honest with you. I should probably get glasses.
Zoom in for you.
There we go. Then put on George's. All right, so Chucky Doakley
let me hold on. Let me scroll up a little bit.
Oh, I got it on the computer here now. I got it here on the computer.
Okay.
Just needed a couple seconds. Chucky Doak defeated Austin East 43-8. Cloudland leads Oakdale 38-28. Daniel Boone leading Knox Halls 37-50. Oh, the game's actually final. Daniel Boone 37, Knox Halls 15. In the fourth quarter, Bearden leads Dobbins Bennett 14-6, which is technically an update. Bearden 6-4 on the year. Dobbins Bennett 8-2. Elizabethton leading Carter 49-7. It's Greenville 45, Fulton 6. Hampton leads Oneida 32-0. It's Morristown West 31, Sevier County 21. Science Hill leads Bradley Central 28-14. South Green over Rockwood 34-16. Is that Unica? Is that how you say that? UNAK? Unica.
Isn't it Unica?
Unica?
I think.
Maybe. I honestly don't know. Unica 44. Greenback 6 in the fourth quarter. Pigeon Forge defeats West Green 48-0. That's an upset right there. West Green 8-3 on the year. Pigeon Forge 6-5. And they lost 48-0.
Gosh.
I mean, that's something you just don't see.
Well, that's a bad ending to a season.
It is a bad ending to a season. You wonder, because at 8-3, you're likely, I mean, you're at least one of the 2 seeds because you're at home, and to get beat 48-0, it is a little surprising. But nevertheless, congratulations to Pigeon Forge on moving on. Speaking of moving on, we go down the list. Alcoa defeated Johnson County 42-0. It was Anderson County 55, Seymour 6. Coalfield all over North Green in the Class Single A playoffs 56-6. Farragut leads Jefferson County 17-7 in the fourth quarter. It's Gatlinburg Pittman 49, Unicoi County 21 in the fourth quarter. Gibbs over Granger final 49-14. It's Knox Central 21, Tennessee High School 14. Maryville defeats Morristown East 49-0. Monterey leads Happy Valley in the fourth quarter 40-6. Oliver Springs takes down Cosby 35-21. It's West High School staying undefeated, moving to 11-0 on the season. 56, David Crockett 7. Listen, West High School out of Class 5A, they have a really good chance of representing the East Side in Chattanooga this year. Yep. That's a really good football team. York Institute defeats Cumberland Gap 53-0. Moving on to Region 3, it's Bledsoe County 16, Harpeth nothing in the third quarter. Stewart's Creek leads Coffee County 21-7. East Hamilton leading DeKalb County 21-14. It doesn't have a Riverdale Lebanon score. I know we've got one, so I'll come back to that one. Loudon defeats Cannon County 31-7. Oak Ridge leads Ray County 36-10 in the fourth quarter. Powell leading Ottawa 49-14. Red Bank 21, Macon County 14. South Pittsburgh all over Red Bowling Springs 46-10 in the second quarter. Sweetwater continuing their really good season. They defeat Grundy County 35-10. Tyner Academy downs Trousdale County 47-14. The only thing notable about this game right here, George, is Trousdale County looked like they were going to miss the playoffs for the first time since 1958 at one point this season.
What a streak.
Yeah, they get into the playoffs at 2-8. So, they keep the streak alive, but they fall tonight in a big way. Whitwell all over Joe Burns at the break 24-7. Blackman leading Cookeville 42-14. It's Clay County 42, Sell Creek nothing. East Robertson continuing their great season 35-12 over Polk County. It's Giles County 32, Brainerd 8. Gordonsville 49, Lookout Valley nothing. McMinn County 39, Campbell County 7. Oakland 38, Shelbyville nothing. McMinn Central 27, Sequatchie County 21. Stone Memorial 22, Hickson nothing. Upperman leads Chattanooga Central 17-7. Walker Valley over Carnes 14-7. And a surprise, Westmoreland leading Meigs County 16-6. You're thinking, wait a minute, that's a 2 versus 3. Westmoreland's at home. How is that a surprise? Meigs County is a tradition-rich program. You thought that was a bad matchup for Westmoreland in the first round, but nevertheless, they lead 16-6. Moving on to Region 5 in a shocker. Beach all over McGavick, 49-0. Clarksville leading John Overton 14-0. We got a barn burner in East Nashville as they lead White House 6-3. Fayetteville, hopefully, this says halftime, George. Hopefully not, because they lead South Fulton 63-14.
Oh, gosh.
It's Marshall County 21, Chester County 10, Moore County and McEwen tied at 14. Mount Juliet all over Lincoln County 28-6. Pearl Cone leading Jackson Southside 31-0. Pearl Cone, a team to look out for in 3A this year.
How far do you think they can go?
Semifinals, I think Covington is the team out of Memphis, Tennessee. Maybe that they might have to look. I can look back up, but a really good chance to make a run at it. Richland and Adamsville tied at 14. Smith County, another really good team. They're 9-1. They're all over Sycamore 34-0. White County, a good team led, of course, by Malachi Dowell, the running back who was leading the nation at one point with rushing yards. They're up 21-10 over Franklin County. Moving on down the list, Region 6, Cane Ridge leads Gallatin 20-0. Gallatin's experimenting with their quarterback in the first round of the playoffs. They had a senior in, then they threw a freshman in, threw their senior back in. Maybe
that's
looking back at
that's a tough way to make it work.
Tough way to make it work. And getting word that their best player, Jaheim Merriweather, is not playing tonight either. So you wonder what's going on. It's pure speculation here, but, maybe there could be some big things coming out of Gallatin, Tennessee here in the next couple of days, maybe the week. Dresden leading Eagleville 38-7 in the third quarter. Fairview all over Maplewood 35-0. Hardin County still leading Creekwood 7-0. It's McKenzie 35, Wayne County 0. Page all over Green Hill in a shocker 35-7. We talked pregame. Maybe that could be a really close football game. It is not, as Page leads Green Hill 35-7. Smyrna all over Hendersonville 21-3. Much expected. Waverly just taking it to Stratford. They lead 46-14. Moving on down to Region 7, you've got Dyersburg 51, Raleigh, Egypt 6, Haywood 48, Kirby nothing. Henry County all over Dyer County 42-0. Huntington 50, Mitchell 6. Lake County leads Middle College 30-0. It's Peabody 35, Bluff City nothing. Germantown 14, Ravenwood 7. Springfield has taken control over their game. They lead Memphis Central 27-7. Westview all over Kip Memphis 22-8. And then moving into Region 8 before we get into private school action, you've got Bartlett over Centennial 21-7. South Gibson 21, Craigmont 12. Where did you say Craigmont was?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you
have
said,
no idea.
I thought you said you knew where it was because I was wondering.
No,
that too.
I asked Billy what he knew about Craigmont.
Well, they trail a 6-4 South Gibson team 21-7. Craigmont is 9-1 on the year. So hopefully they get it together soon for their season. Union City leads Freedom Prep 34-6. Mace, M-A-S-E. I think that's Memphis Academy of the School. Memphis Academy of Sciences and Electronics, I believe that is.
Ooh.
Leading West Carroll 50-0.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. I think that's why they go by Mace, M-A-S-E. Munford leads Clarksville Northeast 22-12. It's Sheffield 15, Ripley nothing. Southwind still leading.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, exactly. Southwind still leading Portland 7-3. And then private school action, Macaulay all over St. Benedict 42-6. Pope Prep leading Briarcrest 21-7. Oh, just got a scoreboard update. Portland has taken an 11-7 lead over Southwind. Looks like they got the touchdown and 2-point conversion for that score. Listen, Portland, they went on the road last year. They played Munford out of Memphis, and they gave them everything that they could handle. Lost by 1. So clearly, Portland doesn't mind going all the way to Memphis to play a football game. And then looking in the Division II Middle Region, CPA leading Boyd Buchanan 20-10. It's DCA 38, Fayette Academy nothing. Franklin Road Academy 14, Grace Christian Knoxville 10. You've got Christian Brothers leading Knox Catholic 27-13. Evangelical Christian 16, Silverdale Academy 14. Jackson Christian 28, Columbia Academy 7. And the Kings Academy 8, Trinity Christian 0.
Ooh, no kidding.
Golly.
That is your scoreboard update.
That took all of 5 minutes. I'm just, we're just We're just trying to get the scores. We're just trying to get the scores out, you know?
Go Zach, man.
That was impressive.
All right, you guys can take it from here.
All right, see you, Zach.
Yeah.
Billy?
George?
This is a good time for a live listen into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Poor
Oh,
Zach
look
over
at
here.
this. Right as you say that, George, we are lucky enough to be able to check in with Russell Venozzi as I try to get him connected. Russell, I apologize, trying to get this connected here. Zach, while we get to Russell, while I work on this, do you have any thoughts on his game right now?
You know what? A little surprised. I thought maybe it'd be closer. He's at Page, Green Hill.
Right.
Page clearly just, running away with it. Thought it'd be a little bit closer.
Yeah, me too. And Russell, we talked about this before, we started with the scoreboard updates and everything in the first hour. I made the point that, this is probably the best game of the week tonight. Of course, you're able to make it out there tonight. How surprised have you been by what you've seen so far?
Hey, guys. I guess I haven't been terribly surprised, or maybe shouldn't be terribly surprised, because Page, they've got a great offensive line led by Aiden O'Connell, who's got offers from everywhere. And, they've got a lot of experience that's come back from that state championship runner-up team from last year in Class 5A. And, they've been running the ball pretty much at will tonight. And then they capped off the half with a 62-yard touchdown pass from Colin Hurd. So, they're doing a little bit of everything, and they're doing everything well. And Green Hill, outside of a couple of penalties, if a couple of penalties had not gone Green Hill's way, it'd be 49-0 right now, because their one touchdown was kind of on a fluky tip pass on an extended drive from a roughing the kicker penalty. So between that and then another holding penalty that called back a Page touchdown and kind of a questionable holding penalty, I thought those two things are the only thing keeping this scoreline from being even more lopsided at this point.
Russell, how far can Page go?
That's a great question. I think there's probably a good chance that the winner of, if it happens, the Page-Nolensville game, which I believe would not be until the quarterfinals.
Yes, that's correct.
Double check me on that. Okay. The winner of that game probably has a good chance to get to Chattanooga, I would assume. And Nolensville won that game in the regular season in overtime on a walk-off touchdown. So, the margin between those two teams seems to be really, really thin.
Yeah.
So I think the answer, George, is probably would not be shocked if one of those two Williamson County teams is in the state final. It's just a matter of which one.
Russell, let's talk defense for a second. Obviously, Page has put up a ton of numbers tonight. Really good offense. You've talked about them. But, listen, it's not like Green Hill is this poor team that barely made it into the playoffs. This is a team that played for a region championship last week. This is a really good football team. But Page is just making it seem like Green Hill shouldn't be in the playoffs. Defensively, what are they doing to stymie this Green Hill attack?
Yeah, they're not really letting them get it hardly anything. Green Hill's probably had 3 or 4 fourth downs that they've had to go for, or a couple punts too. They really can't get a whole lot going. It's amazing too, because Page, several of their big guys play both ways. Colin Hurd, the quarterback, is a starting linebacker and causes havoc there. And then Aiden O'Connell, like I mentioned at the top, I believe he plays quite a bit of defensive line too. At least they work him in there. So I don't know, Zach. Just seems like Green Hill's had a whole hard time getting anything going, and their quarterback is Cade Mahoney. He's tough, but he is not does not have great size, I guess you could say. And Page has been getting to him and kind of making him scramble, and he's tried to run the ball some too, but there just hasn't been anything there for him.
Russell, I don't know how much you've looked at the 5A bracket, but I kind of want to piggyback up off George just a little bit. But I've kind of gone down it, and it really feels like it may just be a handful of teams this year on the 5A bracket. You mentioned Page, Nolensville. I think you got to throw Henry County in there. You've got West High School out of Knoxville. Have you had a great chance to really dive into that 5A bracket and just kind of maybe pick out a favorite?
A little bit, yeah. On our show this week on Main Street Preps, the podcast that I did with Tyler Palmentier, we agreed that Knoxville West and Nolensville was our Blue Cross Bowl pick for the matchup. We didn't go as far to say a winner, I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet, but yeah, it seems like those two have a good chance. And like you said, Page and Henry County are right there as well. I mean, the last time I was at this field here at Page, I saw the crazy, just nutty Page Henry County semifinal last year that had so many different swings. I can't even remember what the score of that was, but it went into overtime. And I mean, probably one of the best high school football games I've ever seen. And so wouldn't be surprised if Henry County's in that mix again. But yeah, there's at least 4 or 5 teams in there that should have a shot, but I'm not sure that it's like the most wide open bracket that you've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're going to get Page and Mount Juliet next week, George, in round 2, and that should be a really good game.
Yep.
Probably going to be at Mount Juliet, I think, since they're the number 1 seed while Page is the 2 seed. But really good stuff out of Russell tonight.
Russell, appreciate it as always.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Russell Van Ozee reporting.
Always great.
Yeah.
Always great with Russell.
Just, I mean, I know he kind of hit on it, said he was surprised but not surprised, but I'm still surprised. I mean, again, Green Hill is a team that was playing for a region championship, and what Page has been able to do so far, I think should scare a lot of teams in the mid-state. And I think that game next week with Mount Juliet is going to be sneaky good. It's going to be at Mount Juliet, but if they can get through that, play Nolensville again, as Russell alluded to, that was a really good football game. The first go around, you get through that, probably going to play Henry County. All that's to say is that this 5A bracket is tough, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how it plays out.
I'm with you. I thought they would. I thought Green Hill would be a little more competitive.
Yeah.
This is another one of these deals where it may take a while. This is a disappointing ending for them if it turns out this way. They've had a terrific year. They've had an amazing start to their whole school existence, but this got to be a little bit of a tough pill to swallow.
I would think so too. It's just the disappointment probably carried over a little bit this week. I mean, the disappointment of losing to Mount Juliet, and because that game means something to those kids, and you probably venture to say it may mean more to Green Hill than it does to Mount Juliet at this point in their existence. So maybe that disappointment carries over because to go on the road and have this showing, I think they're a better football team than that. But you know what? I think we've got to give a lot of credit to Page, and I think we saw early on just how good Page could be, and they're starting to flex their muscles a little bit. And I tell you what, that game against Mount Juliet's going to be really good. And I don't care who wins, I really don't. But if we were to get Page Nolensville in the 3rd round, I think that'd be a lot of good football.
We've got a question here from Facebook. Chris on Facebook asks, who comes out of the East in 4A? You have both Anderson County and Greenville, both sitting at 10-0. He asks, can Anderson County pull an upset and come out of that side of the bracket?
I mean, listen, they're undefeated for a reason, right? So I mean, they've been the better team on the field 10 times, counting tonight 11.
Yeah.
So they've clearly got what it takes to compete. And I love seeing videos of Anderson County. I don't know if you've ever seen the pregame atmosphere there or kind of just everything that surrounds that town, but they love their football. They pour everything that they have into football, just like Greenville does. And so, if we get that matchup in the 3rd round, I think it's going to be really good. I don't know where it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be at Greenville or at Anderson County.
Where is Anderson County?
It's in Anderson County.
East Tennessee.
It's East Tennessee.
Not far from Knoxville, right?
I think it's south of Knoxville.
Okay.
South of Knoxville.
Gotcha.
If I know that correctly, I think
the last time I asked.
I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's northeast of Ray County.
Yeah.
If you know where Ray County is.
Yes.
But again, that's a place that pours all of their resources into their program. They've got great facilities, and so that should be a really good game. I'm like the question asker. Are we going to see Greenville get upset? Because it seems like every year they're making a run in football, and this year it looks to be the same. But again, what we think is going to be 2 undefeated teams. I know a lot of people are going to be pulling for Anderson County. I think you could probably get that from the gist of his question of, hey, is this the year that Anderson County finally pulls that upset? I think too many people have seen Greenville win too much, and they want to see some new blood come out. And Anderson County, 10-0 on the year, now 11-0, look like they can do just that. The Mavericks, I believe they are.
Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I believe they are the Anderson County Mavericks because they have the Texas Longhorn logo as their helmet decal, but it's blue. But it's blue and
Hook 'em
silver.
horns.
But it's blue and silver. They've actually got some pretty sick unis, nice facilities. Their entrance into their stadium is really cool. It's like they run into this big fog thing. I mean, they have a light show. They do it big down in Anderson County.
Good for them. That's awesome.
Billy, we need to go to a break.
Yes, we do.
Okay, it's 8:46, so a lot of the games getting deep into the third quarter. A few will have started into the fourth. We'll get you more updates when we come back. This is Main Street Media Television.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try. There aren't any cops around. I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Cover your name, sir. Where you are right now? Ambulance now.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
See, with another tackle right there. That's the second play in a row with the tackle.
What's his number?
I don't know.
Gatsy on the tackle. 3rd down and 9 for Grace. 6:35 left to go in the third quarter. 42-13, Franklin Road Academy leads. Back to pass, Weston going over the middle. Pass complete. Throw. First down. It's Pierce Browning with the ball at the 40 to the 45. Pierce Browning catches the ball and roams out to the 50-yard line. 1st and 10, Grace Christian Academy. What a throw by Weston Edmondson.
They mark him at the 49. Yeah, that was a great play, especially by Weston. He threw it right on the money, right exactly when it needed to be thrown. Right whenever he turned, Pierce ran upfield. He turned, and as soon as he turned, the ball was coming at him.
It was at
so
him.
he could catch the ball, make a move, and get upfield.
Looks like Pierce is working on the jugs machine, man. That was coming at him high velocity. Nice throw, nice catch, good execution, almost indefensible. At the 49-yard line of Grace is where they'll mark it. 1st and 10, Edmondson sends a man in motion. Now Franklin Road Academy scrambling their whole defensive line and did. Back to pass, Weston looking. It's going to be a screen. Ronan McCarthy catches it. Makes positive yardage past the 50-yard line. Tackle. There's a man down on the play. A Franklin Road Academy player is injured. That's Bobby Council. He's a tremendous player. We're going to take a 30-second break. It'll be 2nd and 4 for Grace at the 45-yard line of FRA. When we return in the wind, you're listening to the Window World of Knoxville Game of the Week.
Vaughn Pharmacy is your home pharmacy since 1966. This is what they say. This is where patients are family. Vaughn Pharmacy takes care of you just like your family. So call them today and become one of their patients. 865-947-1581. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, 9 to 2. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell. VIP packs, distributing your medicine for the right day at the right time.
That is Bobby Council, who is injured for Franklin Road Academy. Very fine football player. Had some stops. That time, it was Ronan McCarthy who juggled the ball at about the 46-yard line behind the line of scrimmage. He turned upfield, and off he goes for a big play. Really nicely done. But Council's going to be somewhat under his own power, but he's kind of, he's struggling. Taking short steps. Coming in, Taylor Williams. Williams also has a lot of good defensive plays for Franklin Road Academy. 42-13 in the third quarter with 5:35 left. So, 2nd down and 4 at the 45 for Weston Edmondson at Grace Christian Academy Rams. Now they got a decent drive going. Weston Edmondson looking, has some pressure, looking. Right side, looks, pass going to be complete. Ronan McCarthy catches at the 4 and dives to the 41. It should be in a 1st and 10 GCA. Look up yet another first down. I tell you what, that was a good throw and another good catch.
Yeah, that was a good scramble.
And we're back just after the 9 o'clock hour here in Nashville, Tennessee, on this week 1 edition of the playoffs here in Middle Tennessee. We've got a lot of scores out there. One game we wanted to get to that it turned into it initially started off as not a very good football game, talking about Lebanon and Riverdale. Apparently Lebanon now has jumped out to a 28-21 lead. So Billy's got that queued up, ready to go, and we're going to get you over there. I think who had that call? Was it courtesy of WNSR?
WNSR, yep.
Okay, yeah. So let's go to, I believe, Joe Fisher on the call at Lebanon and Riverdale.
Shotgun formation for Graham. Looking to throw. Rush is coming. Graham throws back left side, incomplete. Almost intercepted. An interception would have won it for Lebanon. Instead, one more play for the Warriors.
And it was the same play they ran on first down where Taylor had not yet turned around. Even if there was not good defense that time, he didn't even know the ball was coming.
I think Key Crowell and Bryce Niesick both went for the football and may have kept each other from catching it. Well, this is it. 4th and goal from the 10. Riverdale must score a touchdown here or it's all over. Shotgun formation for Braden Graham. Taylor to his left. And early whistle and a timeout taken by Lebanon. Got to look at what maybe that offensive set was going to be and then try to make a call and make an adjustment. No sense in keeping the timeout. You can't take it with you. This game had all the emotion last year, Greg. Riverdale guys thought about this rematch for a long time in a game where Lebanon won last year in the playoffs. I think they had a feeling there was a reasonable chance the way pairings would go that they would end up seeing each other again. And boy, we had a good one tonight.
Yeah, Riverdale finishing 3rd in 4-6A and Lebanon finishing 2nd behind Coffee County in 3-6A. And the thing about that is those regions correspond with each other every year, 1 and 2 hosting 3 and 4 and vice versa. If you're sitting there in Region 3 and you're matching up with that Murfreesboro region with Oakland, Blackman, Riverdale. But, yeah, you're right. And that win last year by Lebanon in the second round, that was their 11th win of the season, a school record.
Well, here we go. 4th and goal. Riverdale must score a touchdown or this game is over. Graham in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Looking to throw. Flush. Rolling right. Pointing downfield. Looking downfield. Easing back. Sends one to the end zone. And it is broken up and incomplete. The Lebanon Blue Devils have defeated Riverdale in overtime, 41-34. Wow.
Double wow.
He had plenty of time. He eased to the right, bought a lot of time. But the pass into traffic in the end zone, and Lebanon lives to play another day.
3 of those 4 plays were pass plays. 1 run by Taylor, not off the left side, where they've been dominant all year long, all night long.
Tremendous game. Both of these teams, Lebanon with the win, improves now to 9-2. And the season for Riverdale comes to an end at 6-5. And after an emotional, hard-fought game, these two teams line up and shake hands as they come across midfield. Stay with us. We'll come back and recap for you in just a moment. Lebanon in double overtime.
Billy had the wrong headset on. I had the headset on, was going to talk into the microphone. I was going to talk into 2 different places.
Hey, we got Ivan and Ronan on.
Ivan, maybe you heard the end of that Lebanon game, but Lebanon edges out Riverdale in double overtime. Just for your knowledge.
I was listening to our friend Tommy Bryan on that call. That seemed like a very exciting game.
It was. But back to your game, Mount Juliet, Lincoln County. It wasn't very close, Ivan. 43-6. This Mount Juliet team is very, very good. I mean, they could easily be 9-1 on the season if you take away that Gallatin loss to open the season. But here they are, second round of the playoffs. They're going to get Page. They get them at home. What's kind of some early thoughts from Trey Perry and the Golden Bears as they get ready to take on the Patriots?
Well, they have a little bit of advantage that Coach Perry was talking about after the game tonight, that Page and Lincoln County played in the last game of the regular season. So they've been watching film on Lincoln County all week and somewhat watching film on Page at the same time. So they got a little bit of a head start. I think you're going to see what we've seen the last few games from Mount Juliet. Their defense has been playing much, much better the last 4 or 5 games of the season. They didn't have any sacks tonight, which is unusual. The other thing they did that they've been doing very well all season, but especially lately, is their special teams. They blocked a kick for the, I believe, 4th or 5th game in a row tonight. They recovered an onside kick that led to the touchdown that kind of broke the game wide open. They scored on a 2-point conversion after their 5th touchdown that set up the running clock for the rest of the game. So they're winning, or at least making significant impact on special teams the last few games.
Absolutely, and more evident, and no more evident than a 43-6 win tonight. Ivan, looking at around the county of Wilson County, we just talked about obviously Page beat Green Hill, but they beat them in a way that kind of shocked me, 48-21. Are you surprised at all just how lopsided that game was?
A little bit, but I tell you, a lot of people in the county saw that coming a little bit. Green Hill's top running back, Brax Lambert, got hurt in the Mount Juliet game last week, separated his shoulder. And he was ruled out of the game tonight. They did get one of their other running backs back in the lineup, Nico Duffy, who had missed a couple of games. But they were, Lambert was a 1,200-yard rusher. He set the tone for that offense. When he was running well, they could do a lot of things on offense. And without him back there, I'm guessing quarterback Cade Mahoney ran the ball or tried to run the ball quite a bit. And their offense just wasn't clicking with Lambert on the sideline.
Ivan, we got about 5 minutes, and I'm probably going to let you go on this question, but I want to talk about Lebanon for a second. Obviously, I know you weren't there tonight, but they get to move on and play a team that is obviously the state favorite in Oakland. Got to go on the road. I know Lebanon had their season end to the Patriots last year. Do you give the Blue Devils any chance in this one come next week, Ivan?
I think with as athletic as Abston is at quarterback, that causes a lot of problems for a lot of defenses, even good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you would start if you're Oakland, game planning there to keep Abston under control, and then take your chances with controlling the wide receivers after that.
And then actually one more question, because I don't want to forget about them. They're 10-0, Ivan. Friendship Christian. They've got DCA next Friday at home. We know what Friendship Christian did to DCA the first time they played. FCS feels like they've been on a different level ever since week one. I can't remember who they played in week one, but I remember they beat somebody that kind of caught your eye, and they've just kind of been rolling.
I want to say Trousdale County, maybe.
Maybe it was Trousdale, but it was before we knew Trousdale County was going to struggle the way that they did. I think they beat them 49-0. All that's to say is this looks like a team that could really make a run at Finley Stadium. Do they feel that way as well? Does Friendship Christian feel like this could be the year they bring back a gold football?
I think they do. They have their quarterback as a Mr. Football finalist. Clearly the leader of the offense. They rally around him. I think you start with Coach McNeil has been in plenty of deep playoff runs that experience will help them. And you're right. They're playing with an extremely high level of confidence right now.
And they should be. They've looked great all season long. Ivan, we appreciate you calling in from Mount Juliet tonight. Congratulations to all the Wilson County teams moving on, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.
See you, Ivan. Ivan Ronan reporting from Mount Juliet, where the Golden Bears got a very easy win over Lincoln County. Going to be a tough one next week against Page at home, but you know what? Mount Juliet's rolling. And that will do it. We've got about 2 minutes, so that will do it for this week.
We do have a question here.
What's that?
Kind of a late arriving one.
What's that?
Showing it on the screen here, but I know you can't see it. But Chris asks again on Facebook, just to close us out here. He says, in Class A, you have number 1 Fayetteville City and number 2 McKenzie on a collision course, with both getting enormous wins tonight. Fayetteville puts up 75 for the first time in school history in a 75-22 win, while McKenzie takes down Wayne County 63-0. That's a whole bunch of firepower.
It's a whole bunch of firepower, but
that's what Chris says.
It is a whole bunch of firepower. Fayetteville, though, I mean, they won a state championship just a couple of years ago, so I like their team. I like their program,
chances.
And I think they've got a chance to get it done. But you're right, that should be a really good football game whenever it does come to an head. So, Billy, if that's everything, man, we're going to close out this week's episode of Friday Night Live. It's just under 10 o'clock here on Friday, November 4th. It's been a fun night. We've appreciated everyone calling in, reaching out to us through Facebook, Twitter, the reporters, all the live game updates. So we will see you next week, and that will do it for this week's edition of Friday Night Live.
Good night.